If you guys didn't know, this is the Occasional Dilemma podcast. It happens every Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we give you the lowdown on video game news. Sometimes I have a special guest. Tonight, that's going to be TJ Ski. We also give you all the upcoming games of the week. I'm looking forward to it. What's up, dude? Dude, that's a little bright.
Yeah, I get my camera set up.
Well, that's too... something like that. There you go. There we go.
There you go.
I got something going now.
Hey. There we go.
What's look, it's T-Ski. Check it out. Not much, man. You doing all right?
Hey, what's up, everyone? What's up, Stan?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, sir?
Still recovering, man, but I'm doing A-okay, I believe.
Nice.
Yeah, not too bad.
Nice, yeah. T-Ski not feeling all that great, so... But I'm glad you got to come and hang out with you. I got some things to say about TJ Ski before we get started. First of all, I want to say to you that out of all the people on Twitch, and I'm not making this up, I know I don't get to come hang out with you as often as I'd like. You're on Pacific time, I'm on Eastern time. I don't know if you've changed your schedule, what happened, but of all my content creators on Twitch, you're one of my favorites, dude. Hands down, you are one of the most gracious, one of the nicest, and I got some questions. We're going to dive into some questions here in a minute and get to know you a little bit more, but I just wanted to say that even though I don't get to come hang out with you as much as I like, mainly because I'm creating my own content and work schedule and time zone differences, I really, really do think you are a wonderful content creator. Your attitude, you stick to your morals, like no swearing on stream, and I don't think I've ever seen you like lose it. You know what I mean? Like, so your content, if you're looking for good vibes, chill content, T-Ski, like, you really do bring it, and I just want to let you know that. So I miss getting to hang out with you as much as I used to, but I'm, you know, it's the way it is. So
yeah. Totally agree, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. I know things have been busy, you know, hey, like you said, you as a content creator yourself, and you know, you're on your thing, so I think that's pretty important, man, that you do what you have to do. And all I know is like, hey, we've been friends for a while, you know, and you know, supporting you is still what I at least plan to do and am continuing to do. So even though it's from a distance at times, definitely know, bro. It's like it's all good, man. It's all good. I really appreciate you. Yeah, you guys here in chat, you guys have gotten to know Stan, and Stan's a cool guy. I mean, him, Tech. I mean, we go back a ways here on Twitch, so you know, just really appreciate these guys. They've actually been good friends to me while on Twitch, and I know that they've been great friends to you as you guys have been to them. So, you know, just keep on doing what you're doing, man. And like I said, I know that I will continue to support you no matter what. So, you know, bro, you doing good things. I actually loved the logo when I saw it on Discord. I was like, yo, you got the wrestling. Nice. I love it. It's good. Yeah.
Nice.
It's good, man. I appreciate this. This is good.
All right. So you're still doing your thing. What's your schedule now? What's it like?
So right now it is Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking to expand eventually, but I'm not gonna do it just yet because I work, I work a honest job and just,
Same.
there's like a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things going on, so I can't really do a crazy schedule. But off and on, I'll probably pop on the weekend. And then this upcoming week, I'm doing like a very late 1 year anniversary, back on Twitch. So next week, I'm gonna probably try to stream as much as I can.
What day is that?
Well, it's already passed. I think it was like July 12th.
Okay.
I want to say that was my 1 year. Yo, what's up, Raj? Sorry, but yeah, I just wanted to say, yeah, like it's 1 year late anniversary. Have some fun with it. I took the week off, so I'm gonna probably stream a couple extra days here and there. So make it fun.
Nice.
Yeah, make it fun.
All right. Very, very cool. Are you doing any content outside of Twitch at the moment?
Not at the moment. Have been doing a podcast as well, so I have been doing that, but I haven't expanded it like past Twitch yet. But I'm trying to get some things together with it, work it out, and it's been going well. We've done maybe about, I want to say about 4 of them. I think I done 3 with the community, and last Saturday we did one about Twitch and dating. So it was
Nice.
really interesting concept.
Right.
It was a lot of fun though. Had 3 of us. We just got together and talked about all kinds of different relationship things that happen on Twitch. Not the be all end all. We're not the stopgate at that, but it was a lot of fun.
Right.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, that's cool. Any plans on releasing some YouTube content or anything like that in the future? Like,
hopefully that's something I want to get to next for sure.
because
a lot of people have been telling me to do it. So
right. I think YouTube's a good discovery tool for Twitch, because Twitch doesn't have good discovery tools, which means. But one of the things is you can't just paste your uploads over on YouTube. You got to make original content catered for that audience, because it's two different audiences really. Like Twitch is more intimate, more personable, whereas YouTube is not long form. If you're posting long form content, they're more than likely not going to watch it. They just want to see like a 7 to 10 minute video and then move on to the next thing. So
exactly.
But people don't understand sometimes those 10-minute videos can take you like, I've been editing this for 6 hours. Oh my god.
Crazy. Yeah. One dude, I think he uploaded what was it, maybe about a 10-minute video. It took him about 7 hours.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, that's crazy.
There's a lot of stuff goes into that stuff.
A lot of stuff. I totally agree with you, bro. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, how about for you though? Like, if you don't mind me asking, like, I know you've been doing it for a bit, so how's that coming along?
We actually started a new YouTube channel to go with our new brand with the Standomania and you Standomaniacs out there. So yeah, I've been rocking that. This podcast is fairly new. I think we're in like the 6th or 7th episode or whatever, but like I do got some good news for you, because we finally decided what we wanted this podcast to be, which is a video game podcast. But when we first started, like I think you're going to be my first guest viewer. I've talked to Jeans, I've talked to Hershey, I've talked to Kiwi, I've talked to all these people on different. I want to have rotating guests. That's one of my goals with it. But I think you're going to be the first guest that. A lot of the earlier episodes were like politically charged, and so lucky you don't have to go through that. So
that was the time, right? That was something. So
I mean, think about everything that was going on, right? COVID-19, George Floyd. There was just so much going on right now, and so I had a lot of things that whether you agree or disagree, we can all agree that there's a problem, and that's what I was trying to convey. But
I know where you're going with it. It's like, I feel it, you know. Well, it's a pleasure and an honor no matter what. So, even if it would have been then, but because it's now, hey, all good, man.
I don't know that I could do I don't know if I can be a political commentator, right? It seems like it would be so exhausting.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues that don't get settled or kind of just get scraped under the rug, and that's that, you know. There's a lot of things to talk about.
and I think a lot of that too is because the people that, you know, we put into office or whatever, they're more concerned with hanging on to their position and their pay than solving problems. So if they solve a problem, what are they going to run on their campaign next time? You know what I mean? Like, so
it's going to be tough, you know. Got to be so honest.
Let me ask you a question, man. Are you really as into everything as you say you are? Like, every time I pop into your channel, right, and I'm in the chat, oh, what you been playing? Oh, I was playing this, man. Oh, man, I've been wanting to check that out. Like, are you really seriously wanting to, like, check out all those games and stuff, or
dude,
is that genuine?
I mean, of course. Like, the thing is just time, man. It's rough. Like, you know, being a gamer is one of those things where a lot of good games are constantly coming out, but then there's the fact of time, and you know, there's that game that's like right around the corner that you've been wanting to play, but like the one that you're on, it's like, do I want to finish this or not? And I'm that kind of person. Sometimes I just kind of just skip to the next game, but I'm trying to hone in on that. So a lot of the games, I actually am beating some of my games now, so I am happy about that. A lot of them I haven't done on stream as of late, though, so that's an issue that I hope to correct with this time off.
Nice.
Kind of get through some of those ones that I know that I really want to finish. So, but yeah, man. Every game that I get, I have an interest in them, but I got too many. The backlog's crazy, dude.
I have known Ski since I want to say 2014, right? We started playing Destiny together, and you were on PlayStation. You're not on PlayStation anymore. What gives, man? You went all in on Switch and Switch. Have you thought about? So that's one question. Like, are you not going back to PlayStation? Are you writing off the PS5? Are you sticking with Nintendo? And if so, have you thought about becoming a Nintendo ambassador?
Oof,
for them. So
that's loaded. Okay, I think we could start with the part with PS4. Believe me, I would love to go back. I would love to go back. There's so many games that have come out. I mean, one of my favorites from this gen was Horizon Zero Dawn. I played that like crazy. Great game. There's been plenty of games that come out, and you know me, I really love JRPGs, so
right.
I see a lot of those come out on PS4, but I have to wait now either for it to come out on Switch or on PC. That's where I'm mainly gaming now. So, right quick, I see you. What's up?
What's up? I see you. How you doing?
But yeah, I would say I've been asked to come back to PlayStation 4. I've actually had a friend even offer to give one to me. He's like, dude, you got to come back, dude. You got to play. And I'm like, man, I just don't want to pay that extra $60 fee. That's like, I don't want to sound cheap, but right now I'm just like, I got my hands tied on.
I get you.
Like, Steam's ruined me. Epic has ruined me. PC gaming has kind of ruined me, dude.
Well, see, one of the cool things about PlayStation, though, even though you don't want to pay that $60 price tag, right? Mm-hmm. All of their first-party, big blockbuster studios, all that stuff single player. God of War, The Last of Us 2, the Ghost of Tsushima. Well, they're getting co-op. They're getting multiplayer features. But Spider-Man PS4, you know, all that stuff's single player, so don't have to have that $60. I know what you're saying. You don't have to pay that multiplayer pay gate fee.
Yeah. I think it's just because I have like the friends on there. They'd want me to like jump in with them. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's more of the part. Like I would love to, because I said these are my friends. I know that they're all gaming on there, and a lot of them I haven't caught up with in a while because they're mainly on there. Or some of them, you know, they still have their Xbox Ones and all that. But I believe me, I would like to get back to it, but I exactly know what you mean about like the single player experiences. Sony's still doing a great job with it. I know I am going to admit I got a little burnout though from the style that Sony gives, but that's not a bad thing. It's just that it was more of me just not being in that place at that point. Like I was just like saying, I feel like I gotta give it up. It's not something that I think I'm gonna go back to at that point, but lo and behold, there's all these other games that followed, and I wasn't thinking like in the long terms of things.
Now, Sony, across Sony's first-person studios, I don't know if this was intentional or not, right? So, like, you look at the all the games we mentioned, and even Days Gone and things. They do have that same look about them. Like God of War looks like Uncharted now, that over the shoulder, close and tight to the character, thematic, more than it does look like. But for God of War in that game, it was a good thing. It was a good change. It was a positive change. But I could see playing across the entire library of every game starting to look and feel. I mean, we give crap to Ubisoft for this, right? Like if you played Assassin's Creed, then you've probably played a Far Cry game, and you've probably played, like, you know, and just go down the Ubisoft list. It's more like Ubisoft the game than it is their individual franchises.
Oh man, no doubt, dude. Like, yeah, I exactly know what you're meaning, because like I've been on burnout with Ubisoft a couple times. I was like, thank God for Child of Light and what's the one? There was like another one, like something.
Didn't they do Banner Saga? Or not Banner Saga? What was that? The little 2D, like, what was that called?
I know. Are you talking about? Well, they did the AC Chronicles as well, which was a kind of a departure from their normal style of game. But there was another one with a dog that I'm trying to think of. That one was a good game.
They did do the Banner Saga, tactical.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Okay, that's awesome. I don't think I've touched that one yet, but okay, that, like, they kind of come out with the different things here and there, but yeah, it's basically like, well, I guess Watch Dogs is going to be a little different though, so I can't really judge Watch Dogs leading. We'll see though.
The first two Watch Dogs games. Again, the first two Watch Dogs games, I love them. I really do. Yeah. But they are Ubisoft the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's got their vibe all over it, man. Yeah, I feel it. You can't escape it.
So we'll see. And apparently, speaking of Ubisoft, they tried to make Ghost Recon Breakpoint like The Division, I guess. And again, this is what happens when you try to make every game the same. Is your title kind of loses its identity, and Ghost Recon is one of those. It really hit them hard, and they actually had to go back and replan like their entire structure and the way they were approaching game development. It was like, hold on, you know, I know this was the only thing that came out last year. Because think about it, nothing Ubisoft has came out since Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which came out last fall. So there's been nothing this year. They canceled everything, or not canceled everything, but postponed everything. So
interesting. So yeah, they've been having that little. I guess they have another show coming up with the September. I think they're gonna show a couple new games. Like I heard, I think Prince of Persia remake is coming out.
Oh, I hope so, man. Don't tease me like that. Don't tease me like that. Like Prince of Persia, dude. All right, so Prince of Persia by Borderbound, right? Oh man, such a great game. And then you have the Sands of Time It's not a trilogy. There's 4 games in that. A lot of people don't know there's 4 games in that, but there was a PS3 tie-in game that goes with that trilogy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you had, what was it? The Sands of Time, the Two Thrones, the Warrior Within, and the Forgotten Sands.
Oh wow, yeah.
So,
okay.
And the Forgotten Sands was really good. Man, I know Assassin's Creed was prototyped to be a Prince of Persia game, and it ended up becoming the bigger thing.
Yeah.
But man, do I miss Prince of Persia. I miss that franchise.
Same, man.
I even like. Did you like the what was 2008? I think it was the cell shaded with Nolan North as the prince.
Oh, the first one that they came out with, or was that the third? I believe.
That was the one on PS3 and Xbox 360.
Yeah,
that was
good.
Yeah,
that was a beautiful game. Actually, it actually was well done. I was very impressed. That's what got me like kind of like reinvigorated. Because I was like, "Yo, this is actually more than I expected it to be."
Mm-hmm.
I just went in not knowing a lot because I remember the old Prince of Persia, the original one. I didn't really play it. I watched a friend who played that game.
Right.
And I was already enamored with it because I was like, this is pretty cool. It's unique. And I just like, I can't play a game like this. I'm like, dude, you keep that controller, man. I watch you play. But dude, when I touched the newer one, which at that time was, I think that was the first one with a cel-shaded one. And oh my goodness, I was obsessed with it because it was so fluid. It was well done. It didn't have like a lot of enemies, I believe. But
no, it was more the encounters were more personal, one-on-one type situations instead of like being overwhelmed by a group of people. So
yeah, it's really good. I thought it was well executed, well thought out, and I can only imagine how much more they could have done with it if they had like this kind of hardware that we have now, or what's coming up. I can only imagine what more they have done with it.
Yeah, so don't tease me. I'm a big Prince of Persia fan. I want some Prince of Persia.
Yeah, I agree.
So what else is going on in the gaming world for you?
For me, it's been quiet, man. It's been
it has.
2020, dude. It's been a quiet year.
It has, but I think we've had some big tent poles, right? At least like I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us 2. Nintendo has been quiet this year.
Nintendo's been quiet. I think they have what they have coming up, which is there's a lot of rumors more than anything. But the thing with Nintendo, they've just been more. I think what they've been doing, like their Sorry, you're gonna hear like
that's fine.
Motors and all that freeway. All right, man. What was I gonna say? So Nintendo, they've seemingly been like they've either shadow dropped stuff or they're having stuff announced closer to the release dates, which has been really interesting. And I think what I've been noticing is that it seems like there is a pattern with that right now. Like ever since they just said like we're not going to be doing like straight up directs, we're going to just kind of like get you guys like a little bit of a teaser and here and there. And for me personally, that's good enough because I just want to know that there are games at least, and I know that they're gonna bring it. It's just like I'm not gonna go crazy and be rabid about like not getting an announcement that's been rumored. That's like, when they give us the info, they're gonna give us the info. They're not getting the pass either. Nintendo's just got to do what they have to do at this point in time with what they have, like every other company, and every company's in a different place right now. So.
Absolutely.
Right quick, I'd say for ICU, any upcoming Switch games you want? Yes, there's a couple. If the rumored Skyward Sword is coming out for the Switch, I'm going for it day one. Skyward Sword, there's Captain Tsubasa next week. There is supposedly the rumored Mario collection that's coming out, 35th anniversary collection.
They had a Paper Mario that just came out not that long ago too, right? Like,
and Paper Mario just came out. That's true. Like I have it and I have not played. Well, I played a lick. I played a lick of it,
right.
but I didn't play a lot of it yet. But it's so I guess right now that game's kind of, some people are a little upset about it because I guess the director was a lot more
in the game more accessible or something like, and that's
it seems to get more accessible, and then it's like I guess the director's being more transparent about the process that goes into making the Paper Marios. Some people just didn't like some of the things that came out of the interview. I think it was something about like the same assets being used, but they kind of just changed things up just a little bit. But to me, I'm like, dude, Paper Mario's not really changed a lot either. They do little like differences here and there, but it's really the same game at the end of the day. And it's like, the Paper Mario series has actually been pretty fun. I guess like if you're just looking for a good quality game that, I feel like more is just about the gameplay. You're not going to get a lot in terms of story. It's one of those games you just go for, enjoy it. It's relaxing. There are a lot of things to do, I believe, in this one, but like I said, I haven't gotten a chance to really fully dive into it. But man, I would say these are the main things that's coming up for Switch that I like. There's a lot of JRPGs that I can go down the list on, but Switch is having some stuff coming up that I think is going to be pretty nice. Just
hopefully Xbox does too. Xbox bought some studios. We got Grounded just came out from Obsidian. Have you played Grounded? You got Xbox Game Pass, right?
I got Game Pass and I got the Xbox app on PC. I have Grounded. I just haven't started it, but dude, I was like, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. The game.
That's exactly what I thought. Like, where Rick Moranis at? You remember the Spider-Man games for PS2? How they got Bruce Campbell to like kind of narrate those games in the first one and second one? Like that would have been perfect. Get Rick Moranis to be your tutorial guide and narrator for Grounded. That would have been perfect. Oh man,
perfect. It's a perfect marriage right there, right? Yeah.
Right. Fall Guys. You tried Fall Guys?
Fall Guys I've been playing on stream lately. So
okay.
I bought it day one. I was telling them a story yesterday that I actually got invited to do a beta test for it. And nice. I said I absolutely did not want to do it. I don't know why. I didn't know what was up with me at that time with the game, but I was like, I don't think I want to play this game. I don't know why. It's just like hitting me that maybe it's like I have other games I want to play and get to. I don't want to play another beta.
Did it look too cutesy or something, or?
No, I think I was just playing. I think I was just playing other games, honestly. Okay. And by the time it came out, my whole follow channels, not all of it, but a ton of it was Fall Guys. I said, I'm going to watch one person play this game. And I was noticing, like, just how fun it did look. And I was like saying, man,
it's a great party game.
Try it? Yeah, it's a great party game. And I didn't know it was a battle royale. That's what really, like, caught me off guard. I was like, so this is a battle royale? I said, That's true. I guess I could see how
I think what it is when people think battle royale, right? They think jumping out of a plane, looting, and shooting, right? Like with a circle that's getting smaller and pushing, everybody together. And this is not that. This is last man standing, but it's different games, and it's thinking outside the box and taking gameplay design that we're familiar with in games like Mario Party or some other genres, and kind of mishmash platforming and puzzle solving and things like that. And I think that is really smart. I think that's really smart. So
yeah. Have you been playing it too?
I played it one night. We're going to play it this weekend. I'm going to give it another go. Cool. But the one night I did play it, see, I went back, my channel is primarily single player first. And I had gotten away with that with as much Call of Duty as I've been playing. And so we have gotten back into that single player. Like I'm playing Skyrim on the weekend, playing Ghost of Tsushima during the week, and so we only got 2 nights available for multiplayer games. So,
Right.
and we're just trying to give everything a free shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to rotate through these multiplayer games and trying to get to everybody. So
I hear you, man. I hear you. That's cool. That's cool.
But with Game Pass, so you've got Xbox, Microsoft. They've bought us Obsidian, which made the Outer Worlds. They got that new game coming out. Looks kind of like Skyrim, the Avowed. Oh
yeah,
man, it looks really good.
Oof.
They bought the people who made State of Decay, and they got State of Decay 3 coming out. Ninja Theory that made the Hellblade series. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. That was one of my favorite games that year it came out. So I'm really looking forward to Hellblade 2.
I've heard of great things about it, bro. It's really
good. The reason is I think that the way the story's written, it's about a person with mental issues and her journey to acceptance over the death of a loved one, and it's all about her accepting the reality that he is gone, and that's what that game is about. And if you can see the game for what it is, and it's a brilliant piece of storytelling, and the way they do, I don't know if you've seen gameplay or watched somebody play it, but she has multiple voices talking to her, and the way they do that in the audio with the 3D audio, to where it's unlike anything else. It's so surreal, and it was a really neat tool that they used the technology to help. It's kind of like you ever played Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so you're controlling both brothers with one stick. Like one stick controls this brother, one stick controls this brother. This side of the controller controls one, this side of the control controls the other, right? Bumpers and sticks. Right. Well, when you're getting to the end, spoilers, and you're just playing as the little brother, the way that they told story through the controller in your hand, I had the same sensation when I played Hellblade. It was just awesome. So
wow, I'd have to give it a shot. I know that game's everywhere now. It's everywhere, so I was like, I have no excuse not to play it at this point.
What's up, Junkerebo? That game is everywhere. Oh, is it June? Yeah. Am I saying it wrong?
Yeah, no, it's alright. You got multiple names.
But yeah, so my question is to you, with Xbox buying up all of these studios, and with the Game Pass service, I know they're more multiplayer focused in a lot of their games and stuff, but Xbox Game Pass service, $5 on PC, $10 on the Xbox itself, and then you get Ultimate for whatever price, and you got unlimited access. And the games, I like the way Game Pass does it, because if the game goes up on Game Pass, it stays on Game Pass. Whereas on PlayStation now, it's limited time on most of the games.
Yeah. Yep.
And
unfortunately.
So my question is to you, with Game Pass being obviously the superior subscription service, PlayStation might be Xbox hardware-wise, but do you think that they will ever catch up when it comes to services like Game Pass, or is it too late? Are they not looking far enough forward?
I would definitely say, well, Rudolph. What's up? Hola.
What's up, Rudolph?
Yeah. What I would say, I've always felt like this. Like you said, there's strengths and weaknesses on both sides. But as it relates to Game Pass, I really believe Microsoft is ahead of the curve on that one right now. But I think too, like don't get me wrong. Like I'm adding Stadia in here, which is kind of weird. We didn't talk
Right.
about Stadia.
Well, no, I mean Stadia is up there. What's the other one? The Nvidia.
Oh, right. Nvidia's kind of sneaking some stuff in there themselves.
What is their thing called? I forgot what it was called, but yeah.
I can't remember it myself, but I know what you're talking about too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think Nvidia is even rumored to be doing something soon. By the way, I think that they have something coming up that they're going to be presenting.
By the way, out of all the streaming services that I've tried,
Right.
I haven't tried Xbox Cloud or XCloud yet, right? Because XCloud's not here yet.
Yeah.
But the Nvidia one has been my favorite. I've tried PlayStation Now. I've tried the Stadia thing over at friend's house. I don't have Stadia, but I tried somebody else's Stadia.
Right.
I've tried PlayStation Now. The Nvidia GeForce Now, that's what it's called. GeForce Now. That has been my favorite.
Really?
So,
That's
yes.
awesome.
But the thing is I was using it in beta. So during the beta, and this was on my old PC, I could take a game, any game out of my Steam library. I don't have to buy it again. It's games that I already own, and I have a virtual desktop. Now, when it came out of the beta, people got pissed, right? Publishers got pissed, like Bethesda, and said, no, you cannot play Doom on this. I don't care if you've already bought the game. You have to buy it again because this is different. Which it's not. It's just a virtual desktop. So I don't understand. But anyway, that's how it works. So I really enjoyed it.
That's interesting. Like, I think, when I'm like looking at it, I'm gonna have to check that out by the way, because I'm really intrigued now. But when I think about like how everything's coming together, like I think Microsoft is kind of leading things to a certain direction, and they've kind of created their own really like unique ecosystem, and they're still doing some things at this point that we haven't even seen the complete projects.
Right.
But we've heard a lot of rumors about, and we're like wondering like, how's that going to get integrated with this, and when is it going to get integrated with this? But they've got a lot of stuff on their plate, and it's just taking a long time because I think they're really planning for something bigger than I think what we really fully can see at this point. But throughout the past couple of years, they've been introducing things like, what was that one AR?
The HoloLens or something.
HoloLens, things like that. I'm wondering like what they're doing because they said, "Oh, it's gonna like they're gonna show off this thing with what was it, Minecraft," and we kind of got a little sense of what they were doing with that.
I think once Google Glass came out and tanked, HoloLens went. Okay, we're not going to bring that up again. I think it got shelved.
Yeah, I think right now what I know is that whole thing seems really expensive. HoloLens seems like it's like a ways away. But whatever they can salvage from the thing, I think they might have something in store for us still. But it's just probably not going to be where it seemed like it was going, I guess. So, but I'm sorry, I'm like kind of like going off. But I'm thinking
no, you're fine.
Yeah, I think like just Microsoft in general with the Game Pass thing, they've really probably given us like something that we're probably are going to see a lot more often, or maybe like the type of model we're going to see is probably something more similar to a Game Pass, where I think PlayStation may do something probably more unique to their way of doing it, but I think they're going to have something pretty similar. There's been that talk about that Netflix-like service just in general with gaming, and I'm pretty positive that like a lot of these companies want to make sure that they have their own thing in place to
PS Now is that, right? So
and yeah, PS Now is basically that.
But Xbox, I think what is it? XCloud or whatever?
XCloud, yeah.
Is what's going to power PlayStation Now. So in the future, that's another thing that people aren't talking about. Like Xbox is powering PlayStation Now in the future. So
It's very possible. I mean, hey, Microsoft at this point, the Xbox division is seemingly very gung ho to be playing around with everyone. Like they want people to like kind of get in on this. They're like saying like, hey, jump on the ship with us. We got some things that we're willing to work with other people on. I think it kind of all started too. Like, remember when we were talking? I mean, when everybody was talking about like crossplay, and everybody was like, say Sony's like against crossplay and everything, and Microsoft seems to be on board. They're getting Nintendo on board. They started getting the games to work with Nintendo and Microsoft.
I think that's a lot of Japanese stubbornness. To because Nintendo was that way on YouTube. When it came to YouTube content creation for a long time, Nintendo was so like behind the times of everybody else was saying, okay, yeah, play our game, and Nintendo was like, I don't know, dude, I don't like what you're doing with my characters and stuff. I mean, it's almost like Disney, right? Because Nintendo is the Disney of video games, but so. And that hard skull thinking like, no, this is the future. Whether you want it to happen or not, this is the future. So you can either have your games talked about or don't. So we saw Nintendo come out with a console, Wii U, and because all the content for it was getting copyright striked or copyright claimed by Nintendo, the Wii U sold very poorly and performed very poorly. It's a good piece of hardware. Yeah, the Switch really comes out. The Switch comes out. Nintendo had reversed their policy, and look what's going on. The Switch is like outpacing the PlayStation 4 as in terms of sales for all-time console or whatever. So that's really crazy. Another thing about Xbox is I've always felt like they are the most consumer friendly when it comes to video games, but their titles are the ones usually that I'm interested in the least. You know what I'm saying? I'm more interested in what PlayStation's doing, what Nintendo's doing, than I am Xbox. But that being said, the quality of life and consumer friendly thing, like, I just wish PlayStation and Nintendo would be taking notes and be like, this is how we beat Microsoft. This is how we beat.
Right. So. True. I think I feel you on that. Like, I've noticed, like, I used to tell people that I've noticed something with Microsoft too. Like, even when they have their sales, I was like, there was a point in time, especially like with the Xbox One, I was like saying, dude, I feel like I can buy a bunch of these games because they're just giving them away. Whatever these contracts are, like, I feel like at that point in time, Microsoft was just doing their thing with their sales. Like, when they marketed the sale, they marketed it very well. But I'm not saying Sony didn't at all. But I think like, I've had all those systems. I had them all at one setting at one point in time. Mm-hmm. And I remember just going through, like, when there was a sale, I felt like I ran to Microsoft for it, especially for more of the third-party stuff. So it really wasn't like the first there. Yeah, it just felt like it just sold very well. I mean, like, the prices were good. I felt like sometimes they even had like a couple dollars more off every now and then. Like, I was like, that's more enticing for me to just get it here rather than get it on Sony. And nothing against Sony at all. Like, I felt like, things were good, but when I basically had gotten, I went from Xbox One brick or VCR, went to the S, and then I reluctantly went to the X, but I enjoyed the X like crazy. It was good. It was actually good. Like, compared to my PS4 Pro, I felt like I had a much better time with my X. Well, it sounds weird. I don't have a. Wait.
I know what you mean. Yeah, we know what you mean.
I know. I'm just joking.
But isn't it amazing how far that 2013 E3, right? What's up, Zero? How you doing?
Zero, what up?
Isn't it amazing that 2013 E3 where Don Matrick was like, "Oh, you want to play your games offline? We've got a console for you. It's called Xbox 360." And he wasn't selling his new console, the always online DRM, and the look at how far they have like pushed the other direction from what they were. I mean, who saw that coming? That's incredible.
They had no choice. That put them like at the bottom of the barrel right then and there at that conference, and they got destroyed. You know, we all know that. Everybody remembers that. They said they got literally destroyed. Their behinds got handed to them.
Right.
And they were basically being scraped off the E3 floor. That's how bad it was.
I mean, when Sony's putting out a video, right, like, this is how you trade games.
Right. They literally laid it out for them. Like, hey, in layman's term, this is what you get with us. And dude, yeah, to see where they've gone, like you were saying, I totally agree. Like, nobody knew if things were going to get better for Xbox, and it seemingly never did. Like, during this generation, it didn't really like get that much better, but slowly but surely they implemented things, like you said, that was consumer friendly. Like, you know, hey, backwards compatibility. One of that was, no matter how much people were denying that, there was that group that was denying the backwards compatibility. That literally was one of the few saving graces for this generation for Xbox. I thought it was so well done, and the games play so well.
And PlayStation had a brilliant opportunity with their upcoming console.
Yeah,
to get that rolling. And so far, the only thing that's going to be backwards compatible is PS4. If you're wanting to play legacy titles on PS1, PS2, or PS3, you're going to have to go to. Apparently, they're going to expand PlayStation now, and you're going to have to stream those games because of architecture differences. And it's
sad because the rumors were there. Yeah, the rumors were there, and it sounded like they were moving in that direction. Like, I guess that's because we didn't have a lot of info still, too. Like, I guess the build up for it was like, man, are they gonna really like go through with that? And there was no answer, and it just almost felt like a for sure thing. They're not saying anything. So maybe,
but they're not saying anything either.
So yeah, we don't know which way to go on this. Like, okay, well, everybody's kind of feeling like, man, if they literally do like their whole like legacy of consoles in one console, they've won. Basically, they've won. Like, people want to go back and play those old PlayStation 1 games and the amazing PS2 RPGs and. You know, this is whatever whatever was memorable, because that's a lot of memories for people. But sadly, yeah, we only get PS4. But hopefully we'll see how things are laid out for PS Now going forward. Hopefully the policies are a little bit more like the time that you have. Because I never really played around with it, but it's more like a rental service, right? Like you rent the games. But hopefully what they're doing with it this time around, either you can like pay it in full, maybe after a rental, and just like the price is maybe like a little bit cheaper or something, just something that will be more enticing for, everybody who's willing to subscribe to PS Now.
Speaking of next gen consoles, so what was it? Last week, right? A week ago, really 2 weeks ago. My news cycle runs a week behind because you know I do it at the end of the week instead of through the week. So really, 2 weeks ago, a user named Dusk Golem, right, had these nasty rumors about the upcoming PlayStation 5, that devs were having a hard time developing for it, and that's why the Resident Evil 8 was skipping frames during the PlayStation Live event, and it looked rough for Resident Evil 8 or Village, whatever you want to call it. Hey, Chrono Paladin, what's up, dude? Or, I'm sorry, Chase of Brooklyn. I don't know what's... Wow.
Chase of Brooklyn.
Sorry, Chase. But anyway, lot of negative rumors about the PS5's capabilities and how lackluster they were compared to Xbox, and that like Capcom developers were having a problem, and there were some other third-party developers having problems, right? But we know PS5 dev kits have been out there a lot longer than Xbox dev kits. So, and the hardware specs are almost exactly the same. I think Xbox is just a little bit faster on clock speed, but Sony has that super fast SSD to help compensate for that. And so, here we go. On Twitter, Matt Hargett, which he used to work for PlayStation, called out Dust Golem and said, "Is this even true? What versions of the dev kit, SDK, and Capcom engine code base is this referring to? What's the actual bottleneck, which is memory, bandwidth, cache misses, ROPs, IO? What does fake 4K mean?" Because again, Dust Golem was saying that because of the development issues, that they're probably going to do checkerboard rendering again, like they did for the PS4 Pro. Right. Unfortunately, I'm not educated enough to know the specifics, though. By fake 4K, I mainly mean what people expect with games running 1440p, 1600p, internally using techniques to be 4K. However, I'm just passing stuff I've heard from people working on games for both platforms. That's his response. And then Matt Hargett went after him again. He says, "I commend you for your honesty. Do you often repeat words and phrases you can't verify or actually don't understand? Or is it something you do in real life as well, or just on social media?" Wow.
That's deep. Wow. You got him on that, though, but wow.
And it had came out that Dust Golem had actually felt bad about Xbox's positioning, and he had made the whole thing up. And now here's the thing. Dust Golem is usually a reliable source within the industry, and this is what hurts. So a lot of the leaks and rumors and inside tidbits that he releases have come to fruition. How bad does this hurt his credibility now? I want to hear your opinion on this. I think he just ruined whatever credibility career he had going, but maybe he can bounce back in the future. But let me hear what you think. And what's up, Lucky? How you doing? Lucky Links Show.
Yeah, what's up, Links? What's going on? So a couple people coming in, which is cool. Thank you guys for coming out. It's awesome. So I'm not too familiar with both guys, but what was the name? What was the name of the guy? The one who's been sharing like information.
Dust Golem.
Okay. So he probably did sabotage himself pretty badly here. Sounds like a crash and burn scenario. So the only thing I could say is, so I guess the thing here, what's kind of scary is that I'm wondering how things are going to go with these consoles in general, because it is during a very rough time where I guess it's in its manufacturing stages, or it kind of been there still. But at the same time, I'm wondering about the quality of these products. I kind of worry about that for like the initial run. Like, you know, we always hear that thing of like, hey, you know, never buy the first, like, grouping of consoles, because you're gonna probably most likely run into issues.
Which I do have good news on that for the PlayStation side. I've not really seen Xbox side stuff. So here's what I do know about PlayStation, right? First of all, they've got a machine that can put these things together in 5 minutes. So when they ramp up production, when they say, oh, we're going to ramp up production to put 10 million of these out in the wild by the end of the year, that's because they have a conveyor machine that puts these together in like 5 minutes. It's an amazing looking machine, and it's super fast. Now, that being said, the case for the PS5 is much larger. So the PS5 is going to be almost twice the size of your PS4 and almost 1.5 times bigger than the PS4 Pro. And the reason is for cooling. And they also have a super liquid cooling system that goes straight, something about the way that it's mounted straight to the chips. And it uses a metal coolant, which is extremely fast. So our PlayStation 5 supposedly not going to sound like a jet engine when it takes off like our PS4s do. So I hope that's true.
Hopefully that's true.
I hope that's true. But again, we can just take this as rumor. I have seen the machine and I've heard, this is what we're going to do for our cooling system this time. And the rumors would suggest that makes them quieter and, they run at optimal power all the time and they don't key up. Like, I don't know if you remember Assassin's Creed Unity on PS4, right? So because there was, because they tried to put so much stuff on the screen at one time with the draw distance and the characters, that's what broke that game. The game, it was too... The PS4 hardware, the Xbox One hardware was too anemic to run this game properly, right? And so when you put all that stuff on the screen, Assassin's Creed Unity, as soon as you put that disc in and it loads Paris, it was coming out of my PS4. I don't know if you had the same experience, but...
Oh man, I had it on Xbox. I actually had it on the brick. The VCR, and it had issues then. I played it on the S and it still had issues. I think that game was just trouble, man. And I heard PC was really bad.
Right.
But yeah, on the PS4, I can only imagine because I think, oh man, I kind of forgot how it went, but I remember just that like a couple of us, like you mentioned Jeans and a couple of other of us who were playing AC at that time. Dude, that game was just broken across the board. But yeah, I'm sure like with PlayStation as well.
So unfortunate because it's one of my favorite stories in Assassin's Creed, but that game is the worst to play.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. It's just all the different things you come across in that game, and you can be like running on the roof and just fall through multiple times, and you're just like.
Now they did patch a lot of that stuff out, and overall fixed it, but. Too little, too late, right? Like
too little, too late. That was the issue, and I think it was because, Unity was the first one,
first next gen release. Console, right? Well, Black Flag did a crossover thing where it released on PS3 and PS4, and then you had the next iteration, which was Rogue, releasing on PS3 only, and Unity releasing on PS4 or Xbox One only, or whatever. So.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, I think it was just a little work. It was a little work that needed to be done, but going back to Ubisoft, like we said earlier, hey man, like I'm glad, to say I'm kind of glad that they kind of got some things straightened out with that. But yeah, we'll see how Valhalla does. And
did you play Syndicate?
Syndicate, I actually enjoyed. I know a lot of people don't like it.
It ran so well. Nobody bought it because they were so pissed off about Unity, right?
Yeah.
So if you're already mad, you're not going to buy and it ended up being awesome, super polished. The only thing I didn't like was repetitive side activities, but other than that, the game was pretty good.
I thought it was it had some redeeming qualities about it early on, So I was like, oh, it's good. Yeah, not bad.
So,
but
shame on you, Dust Golem. You.
Yeah, I was gonna say, going back to him, I hope his career isn't really in shambles, but like nobody wants to wish ill will, but when you do malicious, because that's kind of malicious. It's like you're putting out info out there that's just like it's not correct. But I'm glad he owned up to it, though. He had to take that one on the chin, and at least he was honest about it. Maybe that may help him in the future, maybe not. Maybe this will be where he just says, like, I'm just going to take a break, or I'm just not going to do this at all anymore. Because, like, I don't want to run into another situation like this just for the sake of getting whatever it was that he was expecting to get out of it. So, we all, like everybody says, we all make mistakes.
Right.
But was a big.
Hopefully we learned from them.
Yeah.
That was a big one. It was a big one. All right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right.
Some juicy topics here. This one's going to be pretty loaded. Halo Infinite was delayed and is not launching alongside the Xbox Series X, so there is no next-gen exclusives for the first 2 quarters of the console's life cycle. However, Xbox does tout that there are over 1,000 games that will be ready to play in 4K via the Xbox GamePass or backwards compatibility. But there is no true next-gen experience for the first 2 cycles of the console's life cycle. It is believed that the reason Halo was delayed is because over half of the game was outsourced, and having to clean up the game's coding and development issues during COVID-19 has proved strenuous when you're working remotely, and that is what has delayed the game. Now, do you believe this, or do you think, hey, we showed a trailer and gameplay footage of our game and people made fun of us, and so we need to go fix it? Which do you believe?
Oof. That is quite something. Wow. Dude, I think it could be a mix of both. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's a mix of both. Like, when that trailer came out, hey, the beginning was fine. Beginning of the trailer, I was like, oh, there's a lot of talking going on, but they're setting up everything. But then we get to the gameplay. And then we get to, what's his name? Is it Craig or whatever?
We're talking about the orc-looking thing that looks like Shrek? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. When we got to that, I think pretty much we kind of knew. And the sheer dismantling of that game and the chats. Like I watched it on maybe like 3 chats. I was on Twitch, YouTube, and I forgot what else I was watching. I don't know.
Oh, it looked worse on YouTube because of compression reasons or whatever. Yeah. So it was super artifacty.
Yeah, YouTube, you're not gonna get the full. Yeah, any stream, you're not gonna get the full quality of that game of how it's gonna look. But the game just looked. It already was coming out the gate looking awful. I wish. Oh, what's up, Deli? Yeah, I wish for that. Yeah, I wish for that game that it was coming out of the gate a lot better. But I think they knew. Because this, your game's getting memed more. So the particular character that we talked about.
Oh, he got memed to death.
Yeah, he got memed to death, and it's not gonna probably die down for a bit. Once that game comes out, we're gonna see some new memes, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, Microsoft's wise to just let this one just take this one on the chin. It seems like they've had a lot of time to be working on this game, but like
super long. So usually production ramps down. When did they release Halo 5? Let me look that up real quick. Halo 5 15 maybe?
Yeah, about that.
So Halo 5 came out October 27th, 2015. So you imagine they took probably the rest of the year to ramp down production on that game at 343. And then ramp back up with pre-production in January for the next Halo iteration. And so that game's been in development for since 2016. We're at the end of 2020, well, halfway through 4 years now. So 4 years for Micro. That is a lot of time for a big AAA publisher. Especially if you're just kind of using the same engine and stuff. You're just expanding on that in. So I don't know. There's also been a lot of leadership that is leaving 343 Studios within this year. The year that their game comes out, or right before the game comes out, you have like the creative director and people just leaving. and that's never a good sign for your game. So, do you think, with what they're saying here about outsourcing, with what we hear about leadership at 343 leaving, what do you think the best scenario for this game is? What do you think is the worst scenario for this game?
I think yeah, in my opinion, I would say like, hey, I think their best scenario is that they've delayed the game, they were straight up, and that they just come out with a banger for next year. That's all they can do right now. They put it out on the table. The game got introduced, and they know that they need to go back to the drawing board just a bit, polish this thing up, make sure that it is going to be. Well, I think they said so they said that there's some things that's still going to be missing when the game releases. I believe.
Right. Yes.
So the game was going to be missing a lot just in general, if it came out this year. But I think it'll still have more by the time it comes out. But the worst thing I think they can do is not provide the players with, especially the multiplayer experience. Because I think that was one of the things they were talking about that was going to be missing.
Yeah, multiplayer was not going to be released on release day. I think the co-op was like the split screen 2-player co-op, and the online co-op was going to be available. But yes, the online deathmatch of, we're going to have to show you at a later date. It's just not ready to show, and it's not going to be available at launch, so we're not showing it right now. Yeah, the big draw for Halo, it wasn't there.
Right, and that was a huge no for a lot of people, because it's like, you have to have that. That's a big part of Halo. That's just part of the soul and part of the nostalgia and experience that a lot of us who played Halo growing up, we enjoyed it completely. And it's like, if the multiplayer just isn't there, of course we'd have to wait, obviously, but we can't just like sit idly like saying, well, okay, we got our game, we got our game, but where's that other part? Because we can get through well, I guess depending on how the co-op goes and what else there would be to do. But Halo you can finish up within a day. I mean, it's not going to take long, especially with buddies. You have that time to play with each other, and it's like you're going to most likely beat that thing within a day. The story experience is done. Hopefully beat it on Legendary, whatever you tend to play it on. But yeah, if that multiplayer aspect isn't there, I would really feel like that might hurt them, and especially depending on how long it takes to get to the multiplayer being implemented or patched. Right. Or are they just going to do an actual separate multiplayer game? That's what they're going to.
Well, I mean, we look at scenarios, right, with like the last Call of Duty coming out, and Warzone was not on. Like, we had to go 2 seasons before we got to Warzone. So yeah. I don't know. I think you can launch without certain features, but yeah, I think a basic multiplayer needs to be there on its release. Absolutely. I also think best case scenario, like the best case scenario is the game is not as bad as Halo 5, because people were not happy with Halo 5, right? Like, people were trashing because they didn't have the 2-player split screen. They drew up this drama with Master Chief and the Guardian, right? And then nothing comes of that. Like, nothing at all. Like, it was pointless. And you're still left wondering what's going on with Cortana. Like...
Yeah, it's.
And hey, Tech, how you doing?
Yeah, what's up, Tech?
So, yeah, best case scenario, they release a game that is better received than their last iteration of Halo. Worst case scenario, This 343 goes through a restructuring because they've lost leadership, so they go through a restructuring. And we don't see Halo for a long time.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I'm trying to think, because what was the game? I played this game too. When you were talking about the restructuring, I was thinking of BioWare and what happened to that. What was the
Anthem.
game? Anthem. And, I mean, I don't know if you heard
Actually,
Anthem.
that was a combination of things, right? So that's right. A bad release with Mass Effect Andromeda, which is your flagship series. If you're Mass Effect, like Dragon Age and Mass Effect are the two things you get right. And they screwed one of those up. And then Anthem, of course, which, to be fair, BioWare is a single-player role-playing developer. They did the Knights of the Old Republic. They did the Dragon Age and the Mass Effect. So making them a games as service developer wasn't in their wheelhouse anyway. So I kind of felt bad for them.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're trying to get Anthem back on track, man. Like they got a whole new team, but it's a much smaller team, and they're actually working on Anthem, and they're trying to redo it, basically.
But can you do that with Halo?
Yeah, and that's the thing with Halo. I think that's such a bigger.
That's the Xbox. Like, yeah. That's like. To put this in perspective, right? Imagine Nintendo released a half-baked Mario game without half the features. Shigeru Miyamoto was so pissed off that everybody was making fun of the graphics of Mario that he left Nintendo.
Yeah, or do like Mario as games as a service. People lose their minds. Like, what do you mean? Right? You're like, no. What have you done?
I mean, that's what's happening over at 343. Yeah. Halo is the Mario of Xbox. That is their mascot. That is the face of Xbox. Is Master Chief. Or Link.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Link too. Yeah. I mean, Link's. Yeah. I think Zelda's gotten much more popular. It's every iteration, it feels. No, but I was thinking, because I was like, I was mentioning games as a service, because in a way, like, Halo 5, I think what also doomed Halo 5 was the fact that they had that paywall, that huge paywall for, I forgot what they called it, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, they basically had a thing that you had to pay into. Oh, you didn't have to pay into, but if you wanted to get the, extra, items, or, kind of like Destiny, you have your legendaries and exotics kind of deal, but that you don't pay for in Destiny. But in Halo, you kind of could, if you wanted to. You want that special weapon, that one-of-a-kind thing, you have to either pay for it, or you have to play a whole bunch of games to hope you were good at it.
Speaking of which, is Halo 5 a games of service? I hear a lot of people saying yes, it is. I hear a lot of people saying no, it's not. Is this new Halo a games of service? It looks like it is. It looks like the Halo version of Destiny. To me, that's what it looks like.
That's what's kind of scary. It feels like if that's where 343 is still wanting to go with it, I think that hurts them too, because Halo 5 was fun, but there were just times where some of those items, I felt like the grind was either just way too real, and it really puts you in that place where, dude, I might have to just try to pay for a couple things and just see if I get lucky and get get that gold pack or whatever it was. And it was very enticing. I remember actually I did it a couple times, And I was like saying, boy, I felt dumb because I wasn't getting what I wanted.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it was kind of like, well, this is the model that they're going with. And it's working in some cases because there are going to be people out there who's going to pay for this stuff. And if they do continue it with this new one with Infinite, it does take away a lot of the... it's a weird word to use, the sweetness of the original multiplayer, but it does hurt that those humble days of like just getting in there, playing, having fun at a natural pacing, and I don't know. I'm not for it. I know that for sure. That's like, if I was to go back into it, I'm not going to jump in knowing that I have to pay for those packs, wanting to hope to get some item that's just going to be like a unicorn, very much mythical at this point.
Let's keep that thought for a minute, because I see chat going, remember trading cards, never knowing what cards were in the pack? Isn't that what Destiny 2 had become, Tech? All focused on loot collecting. At least with trading cards, though, you could trade them with your friends. Though, lol. Speaking of all that, right? In California, a class action lawsuit has been brought against Electronic Arts, claiming that the publisher's Ultimate Team modes breached the state's gambling laws. The Ultimate Team packs used in FIFA and Madden games constitute gambling in violation of California law, plaintiff Kevin Ramirez alleges in court documents seen by the VGC. The plaintiff is demanding a jury trial and damages of $5 million, which is a drop in the bucket to EA, really. Really, what comes out of this is law going forward for EA, right? So the case was brought up by Ramirez on behalf of a proposed class of more than 100 others on August 13th in Northern District of California. The same law firm also filed a class action suit against Apple in June for its use of loot boxes in California. It alleges that EA relies on creating addictive behaviors in consumers to generate huge revenues, and that EA's Ultimate Team packs are predatory and designed to entice gamers to gamble. EA's Ultimate Team packs are loot boxes. Buying the packs are nothing more than a gambling bet. Purchasing using real money, the Ultimate Team packs are simply wagers on completely randomized chances within the game to win valuable professional players and other items for the EA Gamers virtual sports team. Ramirez claims he has been induced to spend money to purchase Ultimate Team packs and estimates that he has spent in excess of $600 in FIFA and Madden since 2011, which is not as bad as a lot of the horror stories you hear coming from kids who spent like close to thousands of dollars on mommy and daddy's credit card, thinking, California's definition of gambling defines an illegal gambling device as a machine, aperture, or device. Something of value is given to play, and the player must receive something of value by element of chance. None of these elements can be in dispute. A gamer uses his console, computer, smartphone, or tablet with the EA Sports franchise game on it. The gamer plays real-world currency for the opportunity to open the Ultimate Team pack, and then the Ultimate Team pack is randomized chance to win something valuable within the game. There is currently no legal consensus in the U.S. on whether loot boxes are considered gambling. However, the case references places where the mechanic has been classed as gambling, such as Belgium. It also references a September 2019 report from the UK's Digital Culture, Media and Sport Committee. Whew, that's a mouthful. Which advised the UK government to regulate loot boxes under gambling law. So basically, best case scenario, right? The best case scenario, if the plaintiff wins, the best case scenario for EA would be that they have to rate their games as adult or take out the loot boxes. Worst case is that they get rewarded way more than $5 million, are fined for every single underage gambling act, which is a lot, for as long as loot boxes have been implemented in the games, and it financially cripples and bankrupts EA.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Well, it's hard because I think, we are kind of starting to see like there's a lot of these companies are going to have to really like get to that point where they're gonna have to change the model up completely. And I know there's a couple companies that are trying to do that now. But going back to EA, I think EA's tried to kind of save face a little bit by like what they did with like the Star Wars. What was the last Star Wars? Battlefront 2. And they've been kind of saying with a couple of other games that they're gonna make some changes to.
Battlefront 2. I don't know if they're really saving face, because that's the game. True, the microtransactions never did actually come to Battlefront 2 outside of cosmetics. But that was the game that kind of pushed all this in front of lawmakers' faces. That was the game that did it. That was the game that broke the camel's back. That, like, obviously Star Wars appeals to children. Obviously you were selling slot machine mechanics to children. And then you look, FIFA's rated E for everybody. Isn't it just as bad as Star Wars? So
right. Yeah, I mean, FIFA may be soccer's like the world's like most popular sports game.
It is, yes.
But when you come to Star Wars, yeah, you're messing with Disney at this point. You're messing with George Lucas still messing with and you're messing with a long list of fans.
Right.
Whether they love the new Star Wars or not, people know Star Wars.
And that's the thing, is I think that, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? So, like, if you just play sports games, right, you're probably, like, the people that are super into FIFA or super into Madden are probably the same people that's really all they play outside of maybe some Call of Duty multiplayer here and there. They're really the bro dude gamer. Whereas if you like Star Wars, then you probably like a little bit of JRPGs. You probably played Skyrim. You've probably played yada yada yada. The list goes on forever. So, like, I think the reason sports games got away with it for so long is because the people that really play sports games hardcore and get into all the buying of the packs and stuff are really a casual market that just doesn't know better. Maybe they think that's the experience for all video games. Whereas the people who are into Star Wars and remember what Battlefront 2 was on Steam, like the one by LucasArts, right? Those people play a plethora of games, and they remember they didn't have to do all that bullcrap in Battlefront 2 by LucasArts. So what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Good point.
What do you think?
No, that's an excellent point. Like, I don't know how true it is, but I know a lot of the times it comes across that way. That it is just, that's the casual gamer right there that only plays that certain thing annually and will be the one standing in line just ready for that one new mode that actually was taken out 2 or 3 years ago.
Right.
It is just a repeated cycle, but I feel you do. Like, I feel like, especially knowing like how EA, like the way EA has operated, they got caught. Well, actually, what were you going to say, Stan?
I was going to ask, I've played sports games in the past. I've played, especially like NCAA football, which they don't do anymore. I love NCAA football. There have been, like, I've played Madden. I like Madden. It's okay. I don't like it as good as NCAA, but so I have, I've played MLB The Show. I've played some of these sports games. Do you play sports games at all? Like,
not as much anymore. I do own 2 of the NBA 2K games, but I'm kind of good off of those. Like, if I'm gonna play a sports game nowadays, I feel more like I have to like go with the arcadey stuff because I miss that kind of
like NBA Jam or Blitz or something.
Yeah, like I kind of miss more of that style because I don't see them as often anymore. Like I don't mind the simulation games; they're all good. Like actually, Zero, yeah, MLB The Show is really good. I cannot even lie on that. Like it's a good
Mm-hmm.
game. It's pretty quality. I think the Sony was it Santa Monica
Mm-hmm.
Studios. I think that one. Yeah, they do an excellent job. It's great. The experience feels like I'm like literally right there.
It's funny
And
to hear that the same people who make God of War make MLB The Show. But anyway,
yeah, they got it down pat though. It's amazing. Like I feel like I'm transported there. Now the only thing, like I said, NBA and all that, we've been getting all those games, and I'm cool off of those. Like they're providing more of like a RPG experience, but now they've added more of the microtransactions too. You
mm-hmm.
want to get a better character, you want to go through your career more successfully. Hey, buy some of that VC. You know,
Right.
and they're implementing a lot of stuff now where it just doesn't feel like I said, I don't feel like I'm getting a natural experience with my games anymore.
Here's
So
another thing that EA gets a pass on that no other developer would get a pass on, right? So, like, between God of War 3 and the last God of War, right? Look at the leaps and bounds in production quality and innovations in gaming and all, same thing with, Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 4. Look how that grew or whatever. Look between like Super Mario Galaxy, right? And Super Mario Odyssey, and of all the innovations and things that Nintendo does for their game. Or you can even look at like the difference between the last Legend of Zelda game, which was I think the sword one, the one in the sky with the bird.
oh, Skyward Sword. Yeah.
Skyward Sword. Compare that to Breath of the Wild and see how much more innovative and how much how much bigger. Like constantly, games are supposed to innovate, get bigger, get better, get more realistic graphics, or do something unique. Or there's leaps and bounds by generation, and you're constantly trying to achieve what we in the gamer community call the uncanny valley, right? Whereas sports games kind of get a pass. It's the same graphics, the same engine, year after year. Maybe they add a little feature in, maybe they take a little feature out, maybe they bring another feature back from a long time ago, like you were saying earlier. But really, all that changes is the roster, and that is so super frustrating. So not only do you have to pay $60 for this game, right? You have to pay $60 for the game to get it on day one. You have to pay $60 or $50 to your live service to play the game online. You're paying all these microtransactions to get the best experience, the best players, and it's randomized whether that happens or not. But the game is only on service for a year and a half, 18 months. So by the next time, you have to buy the next year's season if you want to continue playing online because they shut the servers down. So why does EA get a pass when nobody else gets a pass? That honest question.
Yeah. No, I was like I feel like that is so true, like what you're saying right there, because the model for sports games really is basically, like you said, it's just a new roster update because hey, you know, all the teams got new players now. There's been some kind of draft that happened somewhere on whatever sports, and like, hey, you want to get the new like rookie in there? Yeah, here you go. We got them all set up for you guys with their ratings, and they make such a big deal about like ratings.
But can't you do that in the game with like creative characters or trading?
And this is why I don't understand why patches aren't like they can patch the sports game to oblivion, but they won't patch in a roster. Like to me, it's like I guess the assets change sometimes to a degree. Like I know the engines, like sometimes they say like they're adding new things, like or we're expanding on the engine and all that stuff.
What was that one meme though where they had said that and like it was like Madden 13 or whatever, but if you looked up in the stands, there were still Madden 10 like assets that were still up like on the
Oh my goodness.
like
That's
on the
ridiculous.
field it said 13, but if you looked and zoomed in on the stands, it said Madden 10. Like,
Wow. I think I know what you're talking about because that was back when I think Game Day was still around, maybe, or maybe it wasn't. I don't know, but I think there was some kind of controversy. It's like I think I remember that. That's crazy. That's crazy that's what that was. Now thinking about it.
my ideal sports game is, right, so like you invest to get in, right? But you never have to buy another copy of that game again. Maybe you buy the new roster for like a discounted, like maybe the new roster comes out and you're paying $20 on a year instead of $60, right?
Right.
But like you don't release a actual numbered title but once every 3 to 4 years. Because not much is innovating within those 3 to 4 years. So you can essentially release one Madden game, and that's going to be the Madden game for the next 5 years, right? And while we're working on the next Madden, that's going to blow your mind and be the most real the closest it can to actually either watching it on TV or seeing it on the field in live action. That's what we're trying to achieve, and that's what we're trying to innovate towards with all these animations and stuff. And so we're constantly moving forward and trying to get as much realistic as possible. Yeah. So it takes 5 years to do that. That's what we're claiming. So we're going to release this game. Here's Madden for the next 5 years. Now, if you want the next year's roster, it's going to cost you $10-$20. If you want the next year's roster after that, $10-$20. Like, I don't see what's wrong with that model and why EA can't do that instead of just releasing annual titles and not doing anything to innovate or push their series forward, really,
Yeah, no, dude, I completely agree. Like, actually, like, just pointing out to Zero, like, he and I have talked about this stuff too. It's like, dude, like, you can do a biannual, and in your case, you're saying 5 years. Like, there's a good reason to do that because, like you say, you can really contour that sports experience to maybe like where it's at a level that it just hasn't been before, like for like legit, without just saying like, yeah, we're just taking this out and then we're gonna add it in like in the next couple of years and then we're gonna paint it as something new, but we're just gonna kind of coin it a different phrase. Like, you're going from like game, like quote unquote game breaker to game changer. It's like, wait, but that's the same thing that was there before. It's like you're just selling me a different word. But like,
Zero brings up a good point too, right here. The problem is EA has a monopoly in a lot of these different sports franchises, so there's no drive to innovate.
That's the thing. It's like, let's take for example wrestling now.
Right.
Not saying that there's not competition.
There's no more Ukes.
Nope. It's done. Ukes. Hopefully, if it's true that Ukes and AEW are working together, then that's a good thing.
Right.
We'll see. That gets Ukes back in the game to do their side of things. That gets AEW in the game with WWE.
Is it me, or did you like the THQ wrestling games better than the 2K wrestling games? I did.
Oh, tons. Like, I think the THQ ones, even though I got tired of them after a while, I still can say I like them better. I just think that once 2K got them, they just feel phoned in. Right. I haven't had one I haven't had one of like one experience where I felt like I played the games long enough to really like. I mean, because I got bored immediately. I feel like this is still the same game. They keep saying they've added all this and that, and I get the roster. I'm glad this character's in this year as opposed to being a DLC character. It's like I don't feel like they've really innovated off of what THQ has done. Really, they've made some changes, but it's not for the better.
Right.
Not for the better. It's ruined their game.
Why? And here's another thing. The GIF in our Discord, as Tech was trying to point out some Hulk Hogan GIFs for me to use, which I'm sorry, I'm not using any of those. But anyway, one is actually not Hulk Hogan. It's a character from the Black Box regular NES wrestling game.
Oh yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I saw that earlier.
It's not Hulk Hogan, but it's a character that kind of looks like Hulk Hogan if you look squint really hard. You know what I'm saying? But back then, we had more wrestling games. You know, not just WWE wrestling games, but actual wrestling games. Why do we not have more wrestling games? I mean, it seems like wrestling games would be so easy to do because now you can't use The Rock, you can't use Stone Cold Steve Austin or Hulk Hogan or any of those guys, but you can still make your own interesting characters with backstories and have that wrestling feel in the ring and show, you know, maybe you can win over a license once it expires from 2K if you're actually out there making a competitor to their games. I mean, yeah, of course their game's going to sell better because it's got the name that everybody knows, but if yours is really close, even if it's some off-brand offshoot, like, you know, I kind of like what Blitz is doing now. Blitz came back, right? Not Midway, but Blitz came back. And they don't have the license to do actual NFL teams. So they made up their own, and they made up their own players with their own move sets. And I don't understand why it's so hard. And what's up, Davey CK? How you doing? Yeah, it's Hulk Hogan to me, damn it. I love Hulk Hogan.
Dude, you know, like they're trying. There's actually, I think there's over a dozen wrestling games. Are you doing the?
Yeah,
you doing the? Yeah, I was like, dude, like there's like over a dozen wrestling games that's coming out, but we don't really know like when they're coming out. Like, so okay. There was one game that's supposed to come out back in July called Retromania. I don't know if you saw that one, but
no, I didn't.
Oh, Retromania looks glorious. It looks great. It looks awesome.
Let me see if I can grab a trailer real quick.
Yeah, please do. Looks great, dude. It's going back to those old school days. Looks awesome. It actually has light. I mean, like they actually have actual wrestlers. Like they have the Road Warriors in there. They have like some of the newer guys, the older guys.
How'd they get licensed for that stuff?
I forgot. They literally got licenses for, like, they have NWA. They have, well, Zero. Who all do they have? I know they have NWA. They have.
Here we go. We're gonna look real quick.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another.
Oh, this is somebody's actually creative thing.
Knowing that we
Oh, this is the developer.
we were going against a test wrestler.
Yeah.
Here, so.
This is a developer.
You'll notice I still have some of those.
Oh, that is cool.
Tommy and Taz. I think is that. No, I don't know if that's Taz, but yeah, they got quite a bit of guys. They got some good stuff going for it. Looks like it's going to be pretty unique, but that got delayed actually. Supposed to come out last month.
Bummer.
Yeah,
because that does look good.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually looks like it's gonna be worth the money, even though that was some glitch.
Right. Did the sprite like literally change to a different sprite or whatever?
Yeah,
like, for the moves. Sprite. He's still doing it. Like I saw him do that, like the neck breaker, and the sprite actually changes to another. Like the sprite, they don't have the Tommy character. With the neckbreaker sprite animated, so it switches to like Ultimate Warrior to the neckbreaker or something. That's pretty funny. And the guy with the green trunks changing to a white guy with pink trunks just for a second. It's just a second, but wow.
Yeah, I think this was probably like earlier on because I know like actually I think it was earlier on, but.
Okay, but this is the style of the game, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
This was a day ago, so this is he released an update yesterday. This was 2 months ago. All right, new roster. And they actually got to use WWF, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Legion of Doom Hawk, Legion of Doom Animal, Sergeant Slaughter, Big Boss Man, Earthquake, Mr. Perfect, Smash the Demolition, Ted DiBiase, Jake Roberts. Oh my, this ain't it. This ain't it, is it? This is actually WWF game.
That's WrestleFest. That's what they kind of got.
But it says Retromania Wrestling, brand new wrestling game, and this is what it's supposed to be referencing. But this isn't the game. This is.
Yeah,
okay.
I think they were maybe somebody created a video try to give some.
Man, how cheap.
Maybe they're trying to get
who's you got on the stream right here? I don't know who this is. But okay.
Ben Bigelow's signature move was that he would morph into Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Oh my goodness. That's a big change right there. That's crazy.
Okay.
Dude, Retromania looks pretty fire though. There's like fire. Well, okay, I just went into that. Fire Pro Wrestling. Also a very good one. That one took license from New Japan. Well, New Japan Pro Wrestling and Fire Pro did a thing together, so it's more of a collab. And they took another organization from Japan called Stardom, which is the women's wrestling there, and that's all integrated. There's a lot of other ones coming out, like especially on Steam, and I think PS4 is supposed to get a couple of them too. But yeah, they don't have that big, like you said, they don't have the big licenses, the big names, the superstars, and the main attractions. But there are some of them that they're more like, I guess, either modding. A lot of modding is going to be involved, or they're going to be games where I don't know, TNA and AEW are supposed to have something maybe down the road. So there's like a lot of games that's supposed to be happening. But one thing though that's still in existence is there's a modding community that's still working on the old WCW and WWE games back on N64. So they've been taking those assets and they've been creating like NXT and the latest WWE roster, AEW. So they have all these characters and they're just now put into those N64 style games, and you can play them on PC. You can download all the packs and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
People are playing it that way. Yeah, so it's still keeping up with the community that loves those games and that engine. And they're just updating the arenas, they're updating the graphics, they're updating like even the story in some cases. So it's pretty cool. You got at least that. So if you're interested, I have to find out the name for that. I can definitely shoot that over to you.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. We're going to come back with a little bit more if you've got time. Do you still got time? Okay.
I got time.
Because I've been enjoying this so much. I love talking. That's one of the reasons I want to have a rotating guest, is so you get to talk with somebody new each time, and it's just wow. All right. But we're going to take a quick break real quick, guys, and get you something to drink, stretch your legs. We've been going for an hour and a half, 2 hours, almost 2 hours. So get you something to drink. I'm going to refill my drink and use the restroom real quick, and I will be right back, guys.
See you guys soon.
All right. Zero, man. Thank you for that. Welcome back. I need a couch instead of having a chair. Ooh. We'll see. Oh, I think we hit all of our news targets already.
Yeah.
All that I had planned anyway, which is good. So we can take questions from chat though. Q&A from chat. And I'll kick off. What's your favorite? You like JRPGs. What's your favorite JRPG?
Oh, man. If you can see behind me, I got a Xenoblade here.
Xenoblade, okay.
Fire Emblem. Pretty big into that franchise, so
Okay.
I can't say if it's well. I got the whole basically the Xeno franchise has been pretty cool. You go to Xenogears, Xenosaga, and Xenoblade. They're all pretty good. All very good.
I think the most JRPG games I've played is, of course, Final Fantasy. Six through now, current.
Okay.
Didn't really like 12 or 13.
I feel it.
12 was too big of a departure, and then 13 was just like, okay, corridors. Yay.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, it gets better. It gets better. How far are you into the game? Oh, 30 hours. Oh, it gets better. Dude, if I have to play your game for 30 hours before it gets good, like, your game's not good.
Yeah. Like, I do tell people to, like, try 13. Just see where you're at with it, because, like, I actually enjoyed it up until I got to the last part, and that's where I just completely like said, okay, this game, I see why people didn't like it, but at the same time I was like, okay, I tried to be fair with it. I know I'm like kind of big into like these games, but then I was like, nah, just give it a shot, see what you think. If you can't get through it, don't force yourself.
Right.
I understand it's a lot of stuff going on that just really was pretty annoying.
Some other JRPGs out there, of course. Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo was so good. So good.
Yeah.
Did you play the Secrets of Mana remake?
I have the remake. I've not gone through it. I've only played the demo.
Okay.
But oh my goodness, it's pretty good so far.
Probably my favorite JRPG of all time. Again, going back to Squaresoft or Square Enix. Chrono Trigger, of course. I mean, that's like a mind blower. Like, Chrono Cross, of course, was good also. What is it, the Legend of Lagoon or Secrets of
Legend of Legaia or not that one?
I remember Legend of Gaia.
Okay, because there's a couple of them that kind of start sounding alike. Legend of Dragoon.
Legend of Dragoon. There you go.
There you go. That's a good one. That's one I wish I played, but I never got a chance. That was a pretty big game, actually, from what I hear.
What about Ark the Lad? Did you ever play that?
Ark the Lad. I didn't get into Ark the Lad. There was I had a chance to buy that one, but I bought I always butcher the name, but do you remember Suikoden or Suikoden, however you would call it? Oh man, sorry.
I don't think I remember.
It's so good, man. It's a guilty pleasure of mine because you have like this. You basically create a ragtag group of like characters, or there's a ragtag group of characters you can get. I think they're called the 108 stars or something like that. But you build up this team and you're constantly going into these different wars in each game. And oh my goodness, like the team that you build up and just different like story elements. It was so good. It was great. Probably one of the better franchises.
I see it here. There's a lot of these that I didn't play. Like Ease. I never got to experience Ease.
Ease is pretty interesting.
The Fantasy Star. I was a Nintendo kid, not a Sega kid, so I never got Fantasy Star. Yeah, one that I bought, I remember pulling off of a Walmart rack for like $10 for PC on CD-ROM or whatever. Ended up being fantastic little game though. Have you guys ever heard of Septerra's Core?
Oh, I don't think I've heard that one.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool game.
Really?
Yeah, Septerra Core. So it says trash classics here on my thing, but I ended up liking it. Votion says, I am free from school. Someone fight me right here, right now. No mercy. What about you guys, chat? You guys got any question for me or TJ?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, what draws you to JRPGs? Because to me, like, and I like them.
Yeah.
But then I go to play like Tales of Zestiria, right? And on Twitch, and like my viewership just tanks. Like nobody's interested. Like it seems like it's a very niche audience. So and like I want to play Persona 5, but at the same time, like is anybody going? I want to play Tales of Persia. Is anybody gonna watch? I don't know. Final Fantasy VIII, like you know, I've got Final Fantasy VIII remastered, and then you know I played the Final Fantasy VII remake, and then but I was like, should I play Final Fantasy remastered now, or it just seems like you know my viewers could care less, right? So they were into 7, but I think 7's the exception because it was so iconic. So everything else is just like too niche and not mainstream enough for them to care about. What draws you? Like I like turn-based combat. I like managing a party with a unique story. What draws you to JRPGs?
I think it's nostalgia. For me as a kid, I grew up watching like movies like The Labyrinth and what was the other ones? You know, like those like old like Jim Henson movies and the weird like like Kroll, things like that. Like I was into like a lot of fantasy stuff. Red Sonja, Conan the Barbarian. I grew up on all that stuff, and it went from that to whatchamacallit, like making mazes and puzzles and everything that like I like to do in those things when I draw those things. It brought me to like JRPGs for some reason. I think the first JRPG I actually literally saw, which is surprising, was Super Mario RPG. That was my first RPG that I ever saw. Not the first one I played.
What was the first one you played?
First one I played, I want to say, can't remember honestly. I know it was something. I believe it was back on maybe Genesis. But see, my thing is like I didn't have like at the time. Let's just say it was one of those games I didn't know was a JRPG or was an RPG. But I know that I played one there. I don't remember the title of it though, so I was still pretty young. But I remember that was my first experience like with a game that was of that essence with the story. But I think the most memorable one for me was Wild Arms, back on PS1. That was the one that I really remember because for me, grinding, getting items, the stories, the characters, the world building, all of that, just like it hit me so well. I was like saying, this is my kind of thing. And from Wild Arms, I went to Final Fantasy VII, and then I started going somewhat backwards into RPGs, like into other consoles. Then I moved back to going forward, and I was like, I'm all indies. Like everything about it is that something that I enjoy. Being able to take my time, learn about the characters, learn about the world. Some of the music is probably some of the best music I've
A
heard in
lot of
some.
these
Yeah,
a lot of these games are very a thing I like about JRPGs is they're very character driven, right? Like if you play a Final Fantasy game or a multi-partied JRPG, like each character has their like quest, you know what I mean? Like they're like in Final Fantasy 9, right? You have your quest with Steiner and Dagger, right? But you also have that whole thing with Vivi, and then you have a whole offshoot side quest with like Freya, and like each character had their like, and it built those characters. And Zidane, you don't really know so much about. He's kind of an enigma until you get towards the end of the game, and you're like, "Holy crap!" Like, so yeah, like I think that's one of the things that like Chrono Trigger is another good example. Like you don't know much about Chrono, but like getting to know who Luca is and where she comes from, and then you go to each one of these like different time periods, right? Like with Frog and finding out that Frog was actually Cena or whatever.
oh yeah.
And then finding out that, you know what I mean? That's just like why Magus is a bad guy through half the game, but he joins your party because you find out that he, you know, as going to the far distant past or whatever, that he was, you know, Shala's younger brother, you know, and oh man, I just love that stuff. And I think that JRPGs for me, like during the SNES, here's the thing: the first one I've ever played was Crystalis. It was an action. It was more like Zelda. You know what I'm saying? It was an action RPG, but it was Crystalis on the NES, and I think a combination of JRPGs and Metal Gear Solid, particularly, are games that saved my gaming career. Like if games were nothing but Mario platformers or like Donkey Kong little like high score games, if that's all games were like high score games or like side scrolling platformers or like, you know what I mean, if that's all games were like racing it, I don't know that I would be a gamer today. But thanks to games like Chrono Trigger and Metal Gear Solid, which is not a JRPG, but it's definitely a Japanese influenced action game, right? Thanks to games like that and getting, you know, finding out that, oh, there is stories and games are aging with me. They're growing up at the same rate that I am, and they're telling more intricate, more adult style stories and diving deeply into these characters and giving you things and choices to think about. And I think that's what kept me being a gamer all this time, and not so much like, does that make sense? So I get where you're coming from. Absolutely.
Yeah, I really do, man. It's like it's just like you said, like, you know, we've grown older. I think a lot of the games, especially like these genres, like these are like some of the tried and true genres that have just stuck, and some of those that are sticking with the kind of like that classical sense. I'll give you one example that's more of like it's kind of new school, but it's not. It's like what's the game? It's called Trails of Cold Steel. If you've heard of that series, it's called I think it's called the Crossbell series in Japan. Dude, if you want a JRPG that's current but kind of has that old school vibe, and they kind of implement a few new things here and there, like a couple hooks that are familiar, but they kind of do a few things with it that's pretty fun. I say try that series out. Let me know what you think. It's 4 games.
Wow.
I think they're all on PS, or they're almost all on PS4 right now, in terms of here in the US. So if you have a chance to check them out, dude, I would go dive in that and see what you think. You know, maybe if you want to play it off stream first and just kind of gauge or gauge where your audience is with it. Probably try and see what happens, but I think you will like it though. It's got those old school vibes, but just like I said, the graphics not great, but they're like kind of like an upgraded version of a game that we would have played back in the day.
Right.
It's so
So Voshin, he asked, are we high school friends? Actually, I think I'm 10 years older than Voshin, or I'm 10 years older than Ski, I want to think. And we live on opposite ends of the continent. So,
yeah.
There you go. I was born in 80. So I don't know.
I was born in 84, actually.
Oh, so I'm only 4 years older than him. But we still didn't go to high school together.
I would have been either coming out of middle school or would have been a freshman at that point.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I graduated in 99, so.
Yeah.
Tech Gladiator's excited that you mentioned Kroll and Conan. PS1, Squaresoft, Square Enix Kid here, Parasite Eve, Vagrant Story, etc. Davey CK. Love those. Yeah. You grew up on turn-based strategy games. Nice. Tech Gladiator asks, Ski, what is best in life? Let you answer that, and then we'll go back into chat.
So I was wondering, I was like, what is best in life? Maybe it's just my brain. It could be my brain, because like I said, I'm not feeling my best, but if I'm thinking wrong, then forgive me. But what's best in life? Maybe what's just like the best thing in life for me personally?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Tex.
Okay.
Tex kind of. Sometimes he's with us, sometimes he's not all the way there. So
yeah. No, I guess I could say. Oh, what is this? Oh no, what am I about to watch? Oh. Oh, okay.
Well, Conan saying, "Okay, what is best in life?" Man, it's been so long since I've seen Conan.
Right. I don't grab things that quick. That's what threw me off. I was like, oh.
What was it? Sometimes at work, I'll say something as a movie reference like that, and I'll get somebody like cracking up. Like the other day, this is a good example. Somebody said, well, whoa, that's heavy. We were talking about something, and they were saying that's heavy. Like, that's a heavy topic. Whoa, that's heavy. And I was like, heavy. There's that word again. Is there something wrong with the Earth's atmosphere? Like the moon's gravitational pull on Earth in the year 1985 or whatever? And he was like, oh, Back to the Future. I was like, yeah. And then there was another day where one of the guys was like, he had picked something up, right?
Yeah.
And with the forklift, and because I work at a factory, okay, so he's picked it up with the forklift, and it's this big rack, and to clear this narrow pathway where he's got to get it, he's got to raise it above all these other, because it's wide, right? So he's almost at the ceiling, like just barely, like probably this far from the lights, like not even kidding, like. And I'm sitting here watching him, see if he hits that light or shatters it or whatever, the fluorescence. And he's coming over, and I'm like, oh, is he gonna make it? Is he gonna make it around that heater? And he gets it all the way down, and I was like, I watched him the entire time, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm fixing to swear. So cover your ears, Ski. Fuck me, he cleared it, right? Like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. And he was like, oh man, I've not seen that forever. So, yeah, sometimes I get those references, and sometimes I'm the one that throwing them out, you know? So,
yeah, this is hard. Like like how some days you're with it, you can just catch something just that quick.
Right.
I don't know, like it's crazy. Like reference like that, I haven't seen Conan for a long time, like you were saying. Dude, I was like, wait, this was a part of the movie? Like what? But no, yeah, all I remember was like things like the Crom. You say Crom a lot. Oh my God, He's like, Crom. It's like I would hear that, but yeah. I won't get a lot of references. I'm not as quick with it, but I know I've watched these things like dozens of time and whatnot. But yeah. You did say that a lot, right? I remember that because for some reason that just stuck.
Davey CK says, my wife and I are on our third playthrough of Divinity Original Sin 2. Turn-based strategy games just have a special place in my heart. And I feel you. I get it. I really do. It's not for everybody, but I like a combination of games. Like, I like the action adventure games a lot. I love Western RPGs a lot. The action RPGs or whatever, but I also get the turn-based. Like, I understand. My thing is like I was saying before, it does seem a little bit like it does have a very niche audience, especially here on Twitch. How does that affect your channel?
Well, I don't. Here's the thing though. Like, I have not played a lot of JRPGs on my stream. And I tell people the reason why I may not play them, like especially fully, is because I'm the kind of player who will go to every nook and cranny and grind
absolutely
for every single thing. That's why I get a lot of holdback with games anyways. Like, I don't get through a lot of my games because either there's going to be that one game I'm just going to try to grind everything, or I'm going to be like, like how I play Destiny. I try to get as much as I can out of it while I can because it's just the grinding. It's like that's what I enjoy doing. So if I'm going to stream that, I know I can't go into it with that mindset. I have to go through pretty quick, kind of explain what I can.
I think that's one of the things that's got me out of turn-based RPGs or JRPGs in general is because when I was younger, I had the time to do the grind. Now I don't have time for the grind. Like, what was it? I was telling Tech Gladiator, we were talking about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I was like, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is a great game and all, but I don't think I'll ever play it again. He was like, why not? I was like, do you realize how long that game is? Like, for real. Like, what's wrong with the Assassin's Creed games that were only 10 hours long? I like those. They were pretty good. They were pretty dope, just saying. But, like, I don't think I'll play this 200-hour Odyssey again. Just
nah. You probably don't feel that need.
Right.
You explored it. Like you're trying to explore all you can in it, while you can. And yeah, I know other people in the same boat. They are still streaming AC Odyssey to this day, and even Origins. I know another friend is working on Origins still to this day, but that's because they're just taking their sweet time. And they're like, I'm going to move to Odyssey next. I was like, oh my goodness. I don't know. I feel for you right now because if you're taking this long for Origins,
right?
And then it's like, my goodness, that's a lot of patience that I wouldn't have. I can't do that. But but I will say this, like JRPGs, like when I have played them on stream, a lot of times they've been like either the anime JRPGs, like the newer one that came out was Fairy Tale, based off of anime. It's pretty good. It's actually surprisingly good for what it is. And the audience seems pretty cool. Everybody's into it. My audience really has been mainly like anime, JRPGs. We're starting to get into multiplayer a bit more, especially with Fall Guys. But I think a lot of the times we're just like, if I play a JRPG, I do notice that it gets a little bit quieter.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I think everybody's like tuned in and focused, and then I'm trying to.
Which it shouldn't be that way because JRPGs is one of those games that's so relaxing to play, like that you can look over and actually read the chat while you're going through, and like. Most of the dialogue is either spoken to you or you're reading it. So, like, if you're reading dialogue from a JRPG, you can be like catching up on chat while it's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Try to do it, especially, like if you're trying to do the voice acting part too, try to make it a little more engaging. You try to sound like a girl in one moment, you try to talk a guy in another moment. It's like, dude, I try, dude. It's.
Give me your best girl.
Wait, what?
Give me your best girl impression. There you go.
Okay, what am I saying? Let me read a line. All right,
Uh-huh.
let me read text right quick. That I don't remember a 10-hour AC game. Holy
Okay.
cow, this is embarrassing.
I don't remember a 10-hour AC game.
Oh, that's pretty convincing, actually. Like, if I wasn't looking at your face, I would
Yeah,
almost be
then you'd be
convinced.
No,
Have you thought
like-
about using like a voice plug-in on your mic when you're doing that?
Oh, I got it, man. Oh, I got it for sure. I got
Oh
a voice.
yeah,
Yeah, we so yeah, we can do something interesting with that. Like we use it for specific things, but yeah, that'd be kind of fun. You know, you got a chipmunk voice character in one
Right.
scene, you put a robot voice character in another. Yeah,
No,
should be fun.
yeah. I've been experimenting them around with different characters during my promos on YouTube, so hopefully that works out.
I hope so, man. You can do it.
With all the COVID 2020, just everything that's going on with pandemic right now, what's something that you are looking forward to? Safely going back to the movies? Are you going to go back to the movies like when theaters open? Like right away?
Not right away.
No.
I haven't seen them. Well, the only movie I really wanted to watch was the new James Bond movie that was coming out.
Yes.
You know, I'm a big James Bond fan. So,
Me too.
Yeah, I love that series as a whole.
Especially the Daniel Craig's. The Daniel Craig's have been really good.
It's been good. There have been a lot of
people have been complaining about like they're saying like Casino Royale was really good, but Quantum of Solace is kind of lame. No, Quantum of Solace was good. Right?
It was good.
Standing by that. And then they'll be like, what was Skyfall was super good. It's like acclaim for all this other shit. And then we get to Spectre and they're like, Spectre was such a letdown. No, Spectre was suspenseful. Like the way that's tied in with how spy stories actually work. It was really good.
Right.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next Bond.
Yeah, Daniel Craig's done a really good job just in general, like with that. I mean, with playing 007, and I was like,
Right.
you know, I didn't see him as James Bond at first.
Right. I don't think anybody did.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, but then when I was just in the theater, I was like, yo, I'm sold. This is better than I thought it would be. And you know, going forward, yeah, I thought he's done a very good job.
And now this might be his last one, right? So like,
yeah, they're gonna move on to a new James Bond.
Yeah, I heard at one point they were actually looking at what's that guy's name that was in shit, he's in a lot of stuff.
Oh, you talk about I think I know what you're talking about.
He was in that BBC series Luther. He was in
oh, Luther. Let's see. Ooh. I don't think I saw that though. I think I saw that one. I know what's his name. I don't know if he was in Luther, but I know it was Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. Yeah, Idris Elba.
Yeah, he was supposed to be slated for 007 at one point, but I think so. There was some weird stuff I think going on. I think there was either supposed to be a female James Bond at one point. There was supposed to be Idris Elba. There was supposed to be a younger James Bond, like they were gonna go way back.
Right.
And, a
do
younger
you do
James
a female Bond, like, or do you just do another character that's spy character?
Yeah, because I don't like. I have nothing against. They say it's a female Bond. 'Cause I think they were saying it was supposed to be the daughter of James Bond.
Right.
That's what they go with.
Right.
So I can kind of see how they will tie that in and work in, like, maybe do some kind of like story, like, yeah, James Bond had a daughter and she took his mantle, basically, you know, within MI6 and go from there. But I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting. It was kind of an interesting scenario. They
Goat.
What's up, Go Gamer?
Yeah, just wanted to get your collective on that. I don't know about the gender swaps on characters. Like,
yeah, I get you, dog. I get you.
It seems to me like I understand you want strong leading females in roles, but why not just write new roles for them that are exclusively tailored that a man can't play? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I agree. Like, because I know that there's been a lot of it happening, and I guess it almost comes to that point where you're asking, like, well, what is the actual purpose behind repurposing a character when that wasn't even its origin? You know?
Right.
And I don't have much against it, but I just think it is one of those things where it's like, what is just basically your purpose behind doing it? Is it because it's the popular thing to do? When, like you said, you can create a new character and make this character just as good or as iconic if you built them up
like
with proper storytelling.
I know like these big movie studios, they want to stick to franchises, right? Because the thing is people don't usually take as high as a risk on a new IP. They're more likely to go to a returning franchise that they know and love and are invested in. So I understand why, you know, there's that kind of temptation there, but at the same time, when you do that, you're kind of like just pissing off the fan base.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you got to weigh the pros and cons here. Like, is it better to make a new IP with a new character, or is it more financially like to take an existing IP and just redo it with a different gender lead or different color lead or whatever, different nationality lead, or because we've done that with some Japan movies, you know, like
definitely, dude.
Or Chinese movies, like the Matt Damon and that, what was the Wall or whatever it was.
Oh, okay, I just heard it. Okay. Is that pretty bad? Kind of worried about that reaction.
Actually, it was okay, but I think it would have been better if, like, it is a Chinese kung fu film, right?
Yeah.
And it's that art style, the colors. The only reason, like, the Chinese wanted Matt Damon to be in that film is because Matt Damon is a big name that will draw American audiences in, and he's also a big name that will draw Chinese audiences in to go see their movie. That's what it was. To me personally, though, I would have been it would have been a better movie if it was an all Chinese cast.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like,
I get it. The authenticity would have been there, you know. It would have just probably felt a lot more. I don't know. I can't think of the word right now, but I just think authenticity is probably something that really does help a lot of movies when you're, especially trying to get a certain point across. But I haven't seen the movie, so I have to watch it to really, really know.
Right. Tex says he's been playing AC Odyssey for 2 years now. I believe it. It is niche. I'm curious how Baldur's Gate 3 will be received. Davey CK asks.
Oh, wait, Baldur's
I've only played the first Baldur's Gate. I didn't even know there was a second one.
Yeah, I think they're even out on a Switch. I was thinking about getting it at one point.
Things about Dungeons and Dragons game. Isn't there like a Dungeons and Dragon online and like a tabletop online or whatever? So like, I guess it depends on how they marketed it. Like I said, I didn't know there was a Baldur's Gate 2. And I see all this other Dungeons and Dragons stuff. So I don't know.
It's interesting. Yeah, we'll look into that.
2020, every game is either a 50+ hour open world game or a BR. Why does every female have to be strong for two? Why can't we have any classic princess needing rescuing sometimes? Because here's the thing. In my opinion, stories are supposed to reflect what's going on in current events at the time, and it's a coping device of how we handle it. Star Trek did the same thing in the 60s. So if it's during this time, it has become so cliche that the damsel in distress storyline, right? So you have a lot of feminist women out there that say, hey, this is not what we should always be reduced to. Why can't we have the same roles as a big action man? And you know, I get it. There are ways to do it. We've seen it been done as far back as the 70s, right? With Aliens and the Alien franchise with Ripley, right? Sigourney Weaver. So I get it. You don't want to fall into that damsel. It's the same thing for everybody, right? Everybody wants just a little bit of representation or something that they can relate to when they go see the art. So when people bitch about like LGBT characters being put into movies or games or whatever, you got to remember that there's people out there that just want some character that they can relate to so that they can validate their own existence. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually human. And instead of griping and, you know, say, no, you can't do that. Now, at the same time, like we were talking about earlier, I do feel like new IPs or new characters should represent these roles and not like necessarily taking a classic character and imposing that political on them. But still, I understand why those people want to be represented, and you should want that for them too. So
yeah, I think. Well, actually, I'll wait because I read something. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was like, yeah, no. Well, I think we'll get there.
So, why do we have to listen? I feel like I just answered that. Baldur's Gate 3 is being developed by Divinity Original Sin developers, and I think it's going to be a turn-based game, to clarify the statement from earlier. Thank you. I don't care if we have strong female leads, but like strong lead, neither is every woman a strong lead. That's true. But
yeah, I was gonna say, like, I know, like, a lot of times, like, a lot of the times well, not a lot of times, but there are cases where I do feel like some leads are built up kind of based off the wrong reasons. And it kind of tears down the integrity of the character in the film, and especially when we know sometimes the origins aren't like coming from a very genuine place. I almost feel, well, I actually wanted to ask you this, Stan, and then like anybody else, like, how did you guys feel about like, okay, the difference between Wonder Woman and then the difference between not, I was going to say Captain America, Captain Marvel, but like that's the scenarios, like two different scenarios, but they're both, you know, supposed to be strong female leads.
I haven't seen the new Captain Marvel.
Okay.
I actually saw the second Avengers, which I probably shouldn't have, without seeing Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Oops. But I did see the original Wonder Woman, and I loved Wonder Woman. To me, Wonder Woman, out of that DCEU, the whole thing is a dumpster fire, except for Wonder Woman, right? So that's my opinion on that.
I feel it, dude. I actually feel it. It's actually a saving grace to that that whole universe right now. Oh my goodness.
Tex says he loved Wonder Woman too. Yeah. At first, now I am going to be honest. When I heard the casting choice that Gal Gadot was going to be Wonder Woman, just from the only thing I think I had ever seen her before in my life, right, was the Fast and Furious franchise. I didn't know she had done anything else. I didn't know she was a supermodel. That's where I knew her from, was the Fast and Furious franchise. And I thought, she is too small framed to play Wonder Woman. But by God, she bulked up a little bit and she kicks some ass. So I'm okay with it. So there you go.
Yeah. I agree. The whole difference. I guess there was that obvious difference between the two films. Like, Wonder Woman, I felt like was more of a. Yeah, I don't know if it was more of like maybe just a mystery, like how things were gonna go, compared to like Captain Marvel. I think Captain Marvel had all that stuff going on around it, which we all kind of know those details with Brie Larson and all that about how things were going with her and.
I don't want to Ronda Rousey Wonder Woman.
Yeah, what's that? That's funny actually. Ronda,
no, I mean, nothing against Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot does embody Wonder Woman in the face, but when you looked at her like supermodel photos and her being tagged as that, you're like, it's kind of like back in the day, right? And I was wrong then too. When they cast Michael Keaton as Batman, right? Mr. Mom as Batman, like there's no bulk to Mr. Mom. And Michael Keaton, to this day, in my opinion, you can argue about who the best Joker is and all that stuff, but best live action Batman, fucking Michael Keaton. I'm sorry, it's just true.
He embodied Batman for I think a lot of us, because it was like, dude, I mean, Val Kilmer, no. I apologize for
Val Kilmer. Batman had a lisp.
George Clooney. I mean, I don't hate George Clooney, but I don't. That's not Batman, or that's not Bruce Wayne.
No, it wasn't.
Well, maybe a little bit, but that wasn't still Bruce Wayne.
I like George Clooney. And I know you're casting George Clooney more for the Bruce Wayne than you are the Batman. Not to fill out the Batman suit, but to play Bruce Wayne, right? But I just no. Like George Clooney wasn't. When you picture somebody brooding, you don't think of George Clooney.
True. Yeah, that's the last. That's kind of. I mean, probably not even the last. It's like it's probably not in the running at that point, but somehow he got up there. Oh my goodness.
Val's still better than George Batnipple Clooney. I agree. Like, but Batman had a lisp. And here's the thing too, is like, I know the Joker's a popular character, but if you look at the Schumacher films, all the bad guys are trying to do their Joker impression instead of their respective characters. Like, Jim Carrey is acting way more like the Joker than the Riddler. And you see the same thing with Tommy Lee Jones in the Two-Face role, right? Like, he's acting all like with the laugh, the over-exaggeration and stuff. Like,
it wasn't, it didn't feel, well, then we have Mr. Freeze and
all the one-liners.
Yeah, chill. It's like, no. It's like this isn't what I envisioned. Like I'm like, even Poison Ivy, that was bad even. I was like, and I like Uma Thurman. But I was like, I guess that whole thing, like the villains came across like more like coming out of a comic book.
Right.
And I kind of got, like, as a kid, I was fine with that. Like, they were okay. I like the show versions of the villains better than the movie versions.
Absolutely. The animated series version.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. And I just feel like they came across, like, the actual villains. Like, I feel like they had more, maybe, like, I don't know, more of a sinisterness in them. Even though they were like even cartoonish versions, but I guess they kind of stuck with this.
I think that like Tim Burton's Batman and Batman the Animated Series did a good job of taking the Batman character and the Batman universe and the Batman framework and really representing that 70s and 80s like raw Batman comic book interpretation, but making it more digestible for wider audiences, of course, because Batman is an animated. But there's still some dark episodes in the animated series.
For sure.
But like,
some
you
things
gotta remember, like, we still have 60s Batman where it was all camp and fun with Batman and Robin, and everything's labeled Bat this, Bat that, and and I felt like the Schumacher films were trying to do 1960s Batman in 1989 Batman's universe, and that's why it did not do good.
I can agree with that. I actually feel the same way, because it felt like it was coming down to more of like they were trying to play it safe, I guess, or what they felt like was okay then to do. But some of those characters, like you said, Two-Face for one. How could you ruin Two-Face like that? There's not a lot that you have to really do there. This guy's hell bent on revenge.
Right. You know,
this guy.
I tell you how you do it. You cast Tommy Lee Jones and like just.
I mean, because what I'm trying to think, Tommy Lee Jones played a lot of. Did he play? He played some villains, right? Like I can't remember. Like a.
Yeah. Okay. So Tommy Lee Jones, he played the villain in Under Siege. He played the villain in Blown Away. So he was actually very good at playing the villain by the time you get to Batman Forever. And why he chose to play Two-Face that way, I don't know. Maybe that was direction, or maybe that was script or the script interpretation, or maybe what Batman books he did know were Batman stories involving the Joker, so he just played the bad guy off as like a generic Joker or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. It was like, what was his source material at that point? Because like I get you. Like I think all the characters that came out across that kind of like cookie cutter, one dimensional. They were supposed to be very like colorful and like lively looking, and Riddler wasn't really all that smart. Riddler was supposed to be this really smart. Wasn't he like truly like a investigator or something like that in the origin?
No, all the origin stories. I remember he was a scientist that worked for Wayne, just like in the movie. It almost plays out the same way, that he's a scientist that works for Wayne, and Wayne, does something that belittles him or tells him to think harder about, think of the wider picture or something, and he takes that to heart and becomes one of Wayne's nemesises. And so I don't think I've ever read a Riddler origin story in the comics. He's always been there, but I'm wanting to think that the way he was portrayed in the animated series was pretty much the same way, so except he was more, his origin, like how he became the Riddler, was pretty much portrayed the same way, but like the difference in tone, like if you watch the animated series Riddler, he is more on Batman's level. I am outsmarting you. I am smarter than you, and it's smarts, not brawn, that wins, and that's his mindset. And so
that's awesome. Like that would have worked so much nicer in that movie if it, like, I guess to a point, like there was somehow he like overrided Wayne's system to get into his mansion, but that's the only smart thing I think I saw in the movie.
Right.
That's about it. That's all he did. Oh,
Riddler.
You're right.
The Riddler in the comic stories that I have read, is that he plans these elaborate traps for Batman, and he leads them there with riddles, but ultimately in the hopes of trapping Batman. And in the movie, we're just wanting the Riddler's just wanting to find out who Batman is, and he kind of lays a trap for him, but it's the most like out there like trap plot, like the TV thing stuck on the head. It's so like campy that you're just like, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it was kind of like they were getting towards the end of the film at that point, so they kind of knew they had to kind of just get to the end. You know, it seemed like everything went down pretty quick. Because
Riddler is a character that cannot stand toe to toe with Batman, right? No way can he stand toe to toe with Batman. No. So he has to, like, I can't fist fight with Batman. He will crush me, right?
Yeah.
So, so Jim Carrey laughing when, you know, Batman punches him, and he, you know,
that was so. God, I remember having a poster of that. Oh my goodness, I'm so embarrassed that I even had a poster of that. I remember wanting to go to that movie so bad with my dad, and my dad made sure that, like, okay, son, I'm gonna get you this poster because I know you're really looking forward to it. I remember seeing Jim Carrey like this in the picture. I had that hanging over my bed. I woke up to that every morning. Yeah, you know that poster?
I know that poster. I didn't have that poster, but I know that poster.
I remember that, like, I can't get it out of my head because it was so bad.
I remember the soundtrack. They wanted to push that for Forever Only, and I think I had got I think it was like a McDonald's Happy Meal or something at McDonald's or Burger King or something, one of them, and I got a sleeved copy. It was a single, like a soundtrack single, where it's only got 2 songs on it, right? And it's on disc, and it had A Kiss by a Rose, a seal, but it also had Hold Me, Kill Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me by U2, and I love U2, and
it's awesome.
I love that song. Yeah.
This was McDonald's that happened? Or like a fast food place?
Yeah, it was like a fast food place and it came with my meal, and it was in a sleeve, and it was, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't.
Okay.
Because I remember having the comic book adaptation of Batman Forever before I had seen the movie. So it might have came with that. With the comic book adaptation, that's a very good possibility too. So,
not bad marketing, I will say that. either way, if that was fast food comic, but that's really good. Worth it, man. So I think well, okay, I should actually ask this too. Well, what do you guys think of the newer Batmans? Which was, what's his name, Ben Affleck? How do you guys feel about?
Okay, so Christian Bale. Let's start with Christian Bale. I loved Christian Bale as Batman. I thought he did Bruce Wayne excellent. He's still not on the level of Michael Keaton. One thing I did not like about Christian Bale's Batman is we're supposed to be buying that he is Batman in 2020, right? So in the Arrowverse, if you guys watch Arrow, I loved Arrow. Arrow is like my favorite out of the CW comic. I know everybody likes the Flash. I like the Flash too, but I liked Arrow more. Okay, Stephen Amell, Arrow, because he got to tell the Batman stories that, you know, Batman's always been afraid to tell on the big screen. So it was really good to go there and tell some of those stories and unique scenario. But anyway, going back, why I brought up Arrow is because Arrow uses a voice changer when he's the Arrow, so that they don't know that it's Oliver Queen. But in Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and like, I hated it. I hated it so much. Like, I know that Michael Keaton, he talked more like this when he was, I'm Batman. You know, he whispered or he gruffed a little bit, but it was not like so like.
It was bad. It was like the whole like, how did it go? Let me see if I could channel it. It was like, where is she? And
Yeah,
it's
there you
like,
go.
dude, like, I heard that the first time. I was like, yo, sir.
That's pretty
Because
good.
like the theater was like just like pumping. I was like, what? Like, yeah, how did his voice just change to such a gruff? Like, it was like gruff, but overly gruff to the point like, no, that's not Batman. Yeah,
That's
that
not
doesn't.
Batman.
That's not necessary. They went too far. And
Totally agree.
I mean, they got the villains right. I think.
Right.
The villains were done right. Bane was kind of the weird one because I know a lot of people weren't too great on Bane, but yeah, I mean, like everything seemed like it was going well. Like, you know, you get Scarecrow right, you get what's his name?
Ra's al Ghul. Now they don't get Ra's al Ghul completely right because there's no Lazarus pit, right? And you're letting Ra's al Ghul die without a chance of returning, so you can't tell and I know this wasn't part of the planned trilogy. They made Ra's al Ghul not immortal, but you know that's where you get the son of the demon or the you know what I'm talking about, where Ra's al Ghul's really pressuring Batman to like join the League of Assassins here, buddy. So yeah, it's.
I agree with you. Like
they got Ra's al Ghul half right. Half right.
Half right.
But yeah, everything else. Two-Face. They got
Two-Face was pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
From that character.
Way better than Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face. Like they and of course Heath Ledger is the Joker. Everybody thinks that that's the greatest Joker performance ever, and who am I to argue? It was one of the best.
Yeah. I
like Jack Nicholson equally. I think they're both up there in the realm of what I expected from the Joker.
Yeah.
I think that Jack Nicholson played it a little bit more. The Joker has a plan, but even in Dark Knight, I felt like the Joker had a plan.
Yeah,
he did have a plan. Everybody says that he was acting on impulse and that he was chaos and the embodiment of chaos, but no, he clearly had a laid out plan, and he won. I don't know if you guys watched the same Dark Knight movie that I watched, but he won. The Joker won. Batman lost. Yes. The Joker is the one in handcuffs at the end and going to the asylum at Arkham Asylum. But he won. Because Batman is now a vigilante that is on the run and not wanted and accused of killing Harvey Dent, right? For the grace that Harvey Dent, the one true positive thing in Gotham that was supposed to, really take it to the criminal underworld of Gotham, and so that Batman's not needed anymore. He was supposed to be Gotham's true savior, and you tarnished him. You broke him. The Joker won in that movie. He clearly had a plan. Moving into the new movies, I like the casting of Ben Affleck. I like how Ben Affleck fills up the suit. I like Ben Affleck's attitude in those films. I think the script was awful.
Yeah.
I think that they didn't leave Ben Affleck with a whole lot to work with. I'm not a fan. It's so frustrating too because I love the Watchmen movie so much, but outside of that, Zack Snyder does not make good comic book movies, and everybody's like, "What's the Snyder cut? What's the director's cut?" It's still garbage. All right, I don't like it. But anyway, that's me.
I agree. I think I waited on each movie like for about like a year or two before I watched it, and I feel like I did come away not satisfied about a couple things, and I don't even remember them because the movies aren't that memorable anymore. Like I said, I would literally wait. Probably it was like about a year or so, and I was just like, I say like, oh, okay, I know what people said about this movie and that movie, and then I just like watch it, and I just say like, okay, I watched it, and they were just kind of subpar.
Certain things that were awesome, like the dream sequence where there's the Superman soldiers, the Superman, you know what I'm talking about, and Batman's like kicking ass in the dream sequence. Shit like that's awesome. Or like when the city's collapsing and Bruce Wayne's running through the streets, not carrying anything, just to rush and save as many as he can. Things like that are written great and they show up great on film.
Yeah.
But like the Martha thing, your mom's Martha, my mother's Martha, so we're gonna stop fighting. They're just sleeping. Shoot him up with my machine gun from the Batmobile. Don't get me wrong. Michael Keaton, obviously his Batman killed people. That's fine. I'm okay with Batman killing people. But like, just don't play it off like there was nothing happened. Like Batman's like,
I get what you're saying, because it's like, so you have to have like the right intent when you're gonna do something like that, because it's like, Batman's not killing just to be killing. There's really specific reasons why he has to go through it. He's a very methodical superhero. He really thinks all these things through. He's kind of like a step ahead most of the time.
Right.
Usually that was kind of like the thing about Batman. He would be like kind of like steps ahead, and if not, if an enemy was outsmarting him, he found a way to kind of say like, okay, I don't want to resort to killing him, but it's like, I will do something pretty, I got to stoop to a level that it's going to be pretty crazy.
I mean, even in the Michael Keaton films where Batman's killing people with the machine guns off the thing, like, those are city terrorists that are trying to overtake the city, right? Like, when Batman kills the Joker, it's arguable that Batman also tried to save the Joker. He tried to reach out to him and pull him up. So I just the Affleck the writing for Superman, Justice League, and Batman v Superman were terrible. All three of those movies. I did not like the Zack Snyder Superman either. I just didn't like it.
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, it's old.
I don't know if I want to, but okay. I think I'll refrain from watching it. The only reason why is just because I don't know. What was the last Superman movie before that one? Is that the one with
Superman Returns with the guy from that was in Arrowverse? He played the Atom on Arrow, and he reprised his role as Superman in the Crisis on Infinite Earths. What is that guy's name? The guy that played Palmer on Legends of Tomorrow. Return of Superman. Kevin Spacey played the Lex Luthor. I mean, at least we didn't get Superman Returns with or Superman Lives with Nicolas Cage. Thank God that didn't happen.
Oh man.
I'm serious. I don't know if you've ever seen those. Here, I'll show you like screenshots of that here in a minute. What is that guy's name? Bryan Singer directed it. Brandon Ruth played Superman.
There we go.
And it was okay. I didn't hate Superman Returns as much as everybody else did, but I felt like it was the main gripes is he's not Christopher Reeves, right? Well, but he's trying to be Christopher Reeves. I liked it. It's a lot better than the Zack Snyder thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, I did too, Tech. But Nicolas Cage as Superman. Oh man, this was going to be so bad. Superman Lives was going to be the title of that movie, and it was several people. Like the script got passed off to several people. I think Kevin Smith was one of the ones that had to work on it, and he talked about some stuff behind the scenes, but it just never got off the ground. And I mean, he was one of like several people. You know what I mean? Like, and he probably left the project due to creative differences and stuff. But the suit for Superman. So here we go. It's very armored like, and then you got Nicolas Cage with his long hair.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's the full body suit. Like, it's supposed to make him look ripped and stuff. It's bad. It's bad. Like, I am glad this did not happen.
Yeah.
This looked really bad. Like, this looked somewhat closer to a reality. Of course, he's just trying on the suit here. He you know, but this is actually okay. We're gearing up to go into pre-production, and this is our suit, and it look. Oh my god, it looks terrible.
That molding is just wow.
Yeah.
Wow, he only had like 2 abs. He didn't even have a 6-pack. It was weird.
So.
Oh, jeez. That's something. Well, I mean, thanks for showing me, because I never knew to even have pictures of the thing. I remember Nicolas Cage was being reported to be Superman at one point, but my goodness.
Yeah, they got it all the way up to pre-production, right? And like, I think Kevin Smith just was like, no. No. And he walked away, and the movie went like nothing. So.
Wow. That's a trip, man. All right. I'm literally speechless about that now. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. I think that's gonna wrap it up for us, though. I don't want to keep you all night, man.
No problem, man. Well, it's been a good hangout. Appreciate it.
I'd like to have you on again. Like I said, I am wanting to rotate my guests and have like a carousel. But like I said, Ski, you are one of my favorite streamers, hands down. And I truly mean that. I wish I got to watch you more. You are definitely one of my favorite people on. I mean, even the way that like you inspire me, right? You remind me that chat is most important and my community is most important by the way you engage with your community, and I find that very inspirational. And I also think that you're a fantastic guy, and like I said, I would love to have you on again.
Oh man, dude, that's really appreciative. It's like it's something hearing that, honestly, because you know it's not like, you know, it's like I'm not alone in doing it. It's just because, like, you know, knowing like other streamers like yourself, and then the communities that we have and the engagement, man, it just inspires you to just want to do more for like one another and just be there for each other. So just even the fact, dude, that you even reached out, and dude, honestly, I was like saying, dude, I'm excited. I'm like, I get to hang out with you. I haven't hanged out. I haven't gotten into this chat or in this stream in a while, because a lot of times it is because we're streaming, or because literally I've been like so busy as of late,
right,
that it's like, it's just crazy. I feel like I cannot do anything else. I have to lurk in everybody's channels at this point. It's that bad. But dude, just the fact that you invited me, I really feel like it's been an honor, and of course I would always love to be able to come back on when there's an opportunity. So definitely I'm down anytime.
All right, anytime. Awesome. Yeah. So guys, that's going to wrap it up this week. Again, Ski, thank you. Maybe before we get the podcast together again, maybe we can play some Nintendo games. I still want to rematch in some Smash, right? Or you want to rematch this
I've
match?
gotten a little bit better. I've gotten a little bit better with that. So my boy's been teaching me. So yeah. Yeah, dude.
But let me tell you something, brother TJ Ski. You ain't seen nothing yet, brother. What are you gonna do when all the stand-up maniacs run wild on you, brother? All right, guys. I love your faces.
I was about to do a macho man. I was about to get I was like, don't get me started, man.
Let's hear your Macho Man. I want to hear it.
Oh, it's probably not that good. But it
I
was
love
like,
Macho Man.
oh man, let's see. Okay, let's just make something up off of one of his promos. It's like, yeah, Mean Gene, I got a plan. I'm the man here with the master plan. Wait, Hulk Hogan, yeah, we coming for you, brother. I got your number. I'm the cream of the crop, and I just don't stop. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's all I can do. It's not that great, but my voice isn't with it, but there we go.
That works.
It works.
All right, guys. Hashtag waffle to get in on a giveaway right now. I have 4 entries in there. This is a spin wheel giveaway. There is a couple of monetary prizes on the wheel. The rest of it is littered with non-monetary prizes. But either way, if you've got enough channel points, you can spend for an extra life. Try to get another one of those, another shot at a monetary prize. You only get to use 1 extra life, though. But that being said, some of the other prizes are pretty cool. There's stuff that we have down in our channel points. So if you guys want to enter, please do that now as we're getting ready to wrap up. Spin wheel was a good idea too. Another thing that I stole from Ski because it has saved me a little bit of money.
No, it's all good. I mean, that's a compliment. I mean, having that spin wheel does help, actually. It makes things a lot easier. That's all good. All good. Yeah, it was because I think I saw, one day I did see you were streaming and I saw the title and I was like, oh, he's got a spin wheel command. I was like, right. Oh, okay, nice, dude. That's awesome.
So tomorrow, guys, I'm going to be playing Skyrim. If you're able to join, that's cool. I'm probably going to start in the afternoon sometime. Tomorrow night, we're going to be playing Fall Guys. It is going to be a long stream tomorrow. And then Sunday, some more Skyrim and probably some Injustice Gods Among Us, as long as Maze Tune and Barrage of Stars show up to the party. Then Monday, we jump back into Ghost of Tsushima all the way through Thursday. Also, check me out on YouTube, my new YouTube channel, if you guys don't care. Tomorrow, I don't know if you guys know this, I am fed up with webcams. My Razer Kiyo is, look at the camera right here, Ski. You see it right here, like on your screen? Not very good. It's like it's oversaturated in color, but it's supposed to be the same quality as like a Logitech C920. Then I look at the Logitech C920, and it's very undersaturated. And I can't afford a DSLR. Many of you can't afford a DSLR, but I bet you we're all carrying a cell phone. I bet everybody's carrying an Apple cell phone or a Galaxy S10 or something like that, or maybe have an older phone with a better camera and better camera technology than the current class of webcams. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing a video and releasing a video on how you can turn your webcam, your phone, into a webcam for OBS, because that's what I'm using right now.
It's so good. It's worth it. I've tried it myself. It is amazing. One of the best webcams you have that you didn't know you had a webcam. It's like your phone.
All right, guys. Everybody in on that giveaway action. Let me close that up for you guys. And pick a winner. Here we go. The winner is John Smith. Let's go down to our spin wheel screen. Sorry, I'm going to have to move you off there. Ski for just a second. I'll bring you back to say goodbye here in just a second. All right, here we go. Let me get into my my dashboard here. Streamlabs. I don't have Streamlabs open. Dang. Oh, and by the way, guys, another thing I want to mention to you guys is if you guys are out there streaming, make sure you're streaming with OBS Studio. Do not use Streamlabs OBS. It is bloated. And there are many things that you can't do in Streamlabs OBS that you can do in OBS Studio. I'm going to be doing maybe some tips and tricks on some plugins that you might find useful, but they only work on OBS Studio. They don't work with Streamlabs. So let's see. Just a little hint and tips and tricks there if you guys want some awesome looking content. All right, let me like using your cell phone as a webcam, for example. Like, you can't do that on Streamlabs OBS. All right. All widgets. There it is. Got lost there for a minute. Spin it. There we go. It's spinning. VIP for the month for John Smith.
Nice.
Which means you get absentee giveaway wins when we do a dollar figure giveaway. You also get easy permit links. Like, you don't even have to ask. Just tell me that you're going to post a link and I'll give you a permit and roll you over and things like that. He did redeem an extra life, so let's give him another spin. This is your last spin though, dude. All right. And you get a dab. Again, something I stole from Ski, so here you go, dude. All right. Ski, again, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me, dude.
No problem, man. This was great, dude. I really appreciate you, Stan. Thanks for the invite, man. It's worth it.
All right. I'm going to let you go. You have a good evening. Get to feeling better. And hopefully we can play some games or something together soon.
Yep. Let me know when you're ready. Hopefully I'll be ready soon. And to you, Tech, to your whole community, you guys are amazing. Thanks for just, the fun times. Thanks for being so welcoming. And hopefully I get to hang out with you guys soon, especially like while I'm off. I can probably try to hang out with you guys during the week. So yeah, much appreciated, you guys.
All right, man. You have a good one.
All right. Have a good night, guys. Thank you.
And to the rest of you guys, this is going to conclude the Occasional Dilemma podcast for this Friday. Check it out next Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we may have somebody new on the show, and we continue talking about news, video game news, entertainment news, and the things that you need and geeky nerds care about. I love your faces, guys. We'll see you later. Have a good one. Bye.